I'm Bruce Buffer. It's time for the Anthony Gorgano Show!
Good morning! Good morning, everybody! Happy Friday. We've reached Friday across the Delaware Valley. Always the best day of the week. This is the Anthony Gargano Show, presented by TrueMark Financial Credit Union. TrueMark.com/PHLY for the credit union difference. It is nasty outside. Can I just tell you? It's nasty, man. I feel like a longshoreman. And we're in this old building that's freaking freezing, man. It's funny. The wind, it's just, wow. Oh, man, wind's wicked. Anyway, I did see the weather, and it's baseball weather next week as it's going to get into the high 60s, 70 one day. We're going to be free pretty soon. Who's not free are the Sixers. Two things off of last night, because both the Sixers and Flyers both lose. And they lose kind of ugly, right? Other than Michkov's goal, which was beautiful. And just, he gives you one highlight a night, at least one. At least one highlight every night. And he's just worth, even on a night that's kind of ugly and they don't have it, still he's worth the price of admission. On the other side, and this kind of struck home. And it is the NHL trade deadline today, so we'll talk about it. We'll be on Flyer Watch. Bill Matz will join us early, so we'll talk about whether Lawton, Ristolainen, do they make another move? Here's the goal. Oh my, he's amazing. That kid, just amazing. But it dawned on me one more time. Oh, he shoots. He scores! Michkov! I want Gene Hart to announce Michkov goal. That would be a happy place for me. But as you see, I'm all fired up. We have our PHLY hockey sweater, which I love, right? A lot of fun. Anyway, on a night when the Sixers go to Boston, and it's not, the game was meaningless. You know that they had no chance to win. You know what's on the floor. You see it. But in big picture, it's depressing. And I kind of got depressed. So last night, I didn't get a chance to see the game. We had our own basketball game. Congratulations to my kids. St. Margaret's, we won last night, the championship of our Catholic League. So we were excited. So it was a lot of fun. And watching Joy with the boys is just such a gift, right? Such a gift. I didn't see the game. I get home and I caught the end of the Flyers game, and then I wound up watching the Avs. Oh my God. I was watching Colorado. And then I saw a little bit of Knicks and Lakers. I was watching some Knicks and Lakers, which was a great game. It was overtime, and it was good basketball. It was really good basketball. And I didn't see a second of the Sixers Celtics, and it was what it was, right? It's just guys were playing, and that great rivalry, which I thought was going to be resuscitated, right? During this period of time where the Sixers were supposed to be contenders in the East and that they would possibly slay the mighty Celtics. Like the rivalry would be renewed. Like there is a thing on HBO coming out called Celtic City, and it just wants to make me puke. Right? It's Boston dressed up in green, and it dives into the rich history of the Celtics. And listen, my hatred of Boston is, yes, they're a rival, but also the idea of jealousy. I'm jealous. They've always been a great franchise. They've always been run correctly. Go back and even when the rivalry was at its height, and it was Julius and Andrew Toney, the Boston Strangler, against Bird and McHale and Dennis Johnson and Robert Parrish, right? Even all those guys. The Celtics were still the true dynasty. Like, with that great team with Doc and Moses coming later and Mo Cheeks, they only won one championship, whereas Boston wins multiple, right? Even go back to the Wilt Russell days. Boston just wins. Wilt's the better player than Russell, but Russell just collects chips. They've been the model franchise. And they're the model franchise today. They're coming off a title. They're not the Cowboys, right? The Cowboys had their day in the sun, 70s and then 90s. And then they fall off the mat. Like Dallas hasn't been relevant. The Cowboys haven't been relevant in this century. When you think about it, this century, now 25 years old. We're a quarter into the century, and the Cowboys are meaningless. And they're languishing, and they're not going anywhere. Washington's on the rebuild. The Giants have to rebuild completely. But there's Dallas, same quarterback, great receiver, CeeDee Lamb, right? Great defensive player, Micah Parsons, but they're not going anywhere. They're not a true title threat. They probably won't make the playoffs again. So when you think about the Celtics, they've sustained. They had greatness way back in the 60s, and they had greatness in the 80s, and greatness in the 90s, and greatness in the 2000s, and greatness last year. And this year, they're the best team in the NBA. And the Sixers, who were supposed to contend, you look around, and there's Quentin Grimes chucking up shot after shot. And that state is what depresses me. And it's all about management. It's all about how you manage your team. And the Sixers, they have just been a disaster. And they've been a disaster since Pat Williams left. You don't even know who Pat Williams is. He was the GM for the Sixers in the late 70s, early 80s, and he had set them up forever. He had pick after pick after pick, and they squandered it. They were a great – think about this. The Sixers are coming off a title, right? And then they basically get Charles Barkley. They had 3 picks in that draft. They almost came away with Jordan. They were set up. And just like they were set up during the process. And they have mismanaged it. And they have failed. One after another. While Boston thrives. And quite frankly, that saddens me. But we got lots to cover today. Free agency starts Monday. Also Monday, you're going to see our sit-down that we had with Spags. So yesterday, we sat down with Steve Spagnuolo, Baldy, and I, and went over the Super Bowl. So we had almost an hour of a sit-down with him, and he kind of goes into the whole thing about what his mindset was, and it's great insight into the game that was the greatest game in the history of Philadelphia. So that's going to air on Monday. Can't wait for that, for you guys to take a look at that. But it was great because having talked to him all day yesterday, nothing but bouquets, right? Like, of course, nothing but flowers sent to the Eagles. Just how difficult they are. Just how much of a beast and a challenge they are. And he talked about Jalen. And he talked about how great, their whole game plan obviously was to take away Barkley, and they succeeded, right? 25 carries, 57 yards for Saquon. But he goes, the quarterback, man, he just makes big plays. The numbers don't look it, like the stats don't tell a story. He tells a story because he makes big plays. And the truth of the matter is, Jalen's clutch. Jalen's money. And I love the quarterback that throws the pretty ball, but money wins, and Jalen is money. Good morning, VG.
Oh, good morning, Anthony.
Well, Anthony.
I was in a good mood.
But when you said Anthony.
Well, I was in a good mood. It was Friday. I came in. I heard a block of like Ozzy Poison and Scorpions on my way in. And then you bring up the Sixers history and the Celtics. It was like, oh.
Well, it's relevant today.
Oh.
It's relevant when you think about big picture.
I don't want to.
It's relevant.
There's no. I just want
The
to.
league
I want to
covers
smash the Sixers' big picture.
the league.
Their picture stinks.
But my point is, it's not only stinks.
Stink, stank, stunk.
Right.
Yeah.
It stinks.
Since we were tiny kids, we're old men.
Right.
Since we were tiny kids, 10-year-olds.
It stank.
Yeah.
It stank then, and it stinks now.
Yeah. I don't know why and how. Is that an ownership thing? I'll give it this. Croce had a good run. It didn't stink with Croce. Croce was fun. They had something going on.
That was a blast.
They had Larry Brown here.
But that was a short window, and ultimately they still made a mistake.
I got to say.
Here's the mistake.
All right.
Paul Pierce.
Yes.
Right?
Wow.
That was the mistake.
Larry Hughes promise.
If you had Paul Pierce and AI, that would have maybe been enough to win.
Dude, how does it happen? How does that happen? How do they do the Larry
the
Hughes
same,
promise
but the Larry
and the Brad
Hughes,
Doherty stuff
right.
and the Jeff Rulin stuff? Why are they always on the wrong side?
Well, dude, take it up to today. Tatum.
Yeah. Yes.
Tatum Fultz. We lost Pierce
had the number one
to
pick.
Boston,
Yes.
right? We lost Tatum to Boston.
And I actually have never spent any serious time in Boston. I've driven through it, and
It's
I just
a great
refuse
city.
to.
I'll be
I don't
honest
want
with
to.
you.
I don't want to go there.
I
I hate it.
I feel you.
I feel dumb
I've
for
had to
hating
cover
it.
many games there, so
Yeah.
it is what it is.
Hmm.
But
Yeah,
when you think about it, they have had the Celtics have been good since the 60s throughout. I brought up the Cowboys. The Cowboys are this entire century, they've basically been irrelevant.
Yeah.
I mean, they had a couple runs, maybe some hope, but short-lived.
Short-lived.
And even when they're at their most optimistic, when they get a first-round bye, they let the Packers go in and beat them at home, trounce them.
I mean, does it stem from ownership? Because Jones has gotten a little after Jimmy Johnson left. Jerry took the reins, and it's kind of been a disaster. And I feel like the Sixers, ever since the corporations took over, it's not great.
Well,
and ever since we got a money man now, like an investor guy,
with Harold Katz, right?
yeah, yes.
Right, working out.
You can't even
driveway.
say you can't even talk to people and say that that's real. That story.
Right. Like, hold on, let me get the first round pick and work him out my driveway.
And I think he's soft.
He's soft.
He's soft.
What?
He just played in the ACC.
Yeah, let me trade. Let me trade for a guy with no cartilage in his knee. Now think about that.
He probably boxed cats out properly.
Think about that.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
That was in 1984, I believe, or that trade, and all these years later. I mean, all these years later.
And
40 years ago, we're still bothered by a guy's knee with no cartilage.
Mm-hmm. And then buying them.
Well, I mean, that's all. But, I mean, the Embiid saga is...
So I went out last night, get a couple pints, hang out with friends, get the pulse of the people. The owner of the bar says to me, what do they do? Because we had the Sixers on the back TV. He's like, what do they do? And I was like, I mean, you hope they get a draft pick, but if they don't even get a draft pick, I don't know what you do.
Well, if you don't get a draft pick, you're done.
You're done.
You're done. You have to get a pick because you need that. You can't have this season be a complete waste.
Right.
And then you got to figure out, like, you're in a holding pattern over hell until you find out what direction you could go with the knee.
And I don't think we're going to get an answer anytime soon.
I mean, well, he's going to have to make a decision.
I mean, he's going to come back and try and play next year. Will we be able to play next year? Who knows?
Well, right. And will you do what kind of exploratory surgery?
Everything.
Like there's like, what do you do?
Yeah. You bring a team of like 50 doctors
and
do everything.
And therein lies the issue, which is you now have a franchise that is basically on hold,
We're on hostage
to hell.
Yeah. Like
you're at, could there be any worse scenario than being at a train station and you look up and it's your destination and you know, at a train station, you ever go you go to 30th Street Station?
Love that board.
Right. And
the
board.
Flicker.
Right. It. And then you see all the destinations. There's paradise, right?
Yeah.
Elysium, right? Hell. And you're looking at your ticket, and your ticket is to hell.
Well, we don't know. Like, we're in purgatory, kind of, right? Limbo.
You're leading
purgatory.
hell, man. I'm sorry.
There's still a chance we get an express past it. No?
I mean, maybe. The only way that can happen is you get a pick. Then you have to figure out what you're going to do with the guards. You like my analogy, don't you?
INS in the chat says, "Welcome to hell. Local time is 9:16. We know you have your choice of airlines. We thank you for flying Philly."
6 Years Express. Oh, that's great.
Oh, man.
But when you think about it, the only way you have two pieces worth anything right now as constituted.
Yeah.
Who you got?
You got Maxey and McCain.
Yeah. And they're two undersized guards.
Right.
Like they're the worst possible. Right? Like two guards.
Yeah.
Not even one's like some great combo point guard.
Right.
They're both two guards.
Undersized.
So you got issues, right?
Yeah.
Short of like Cooper Flag. You know?
Yeah.
Like,
I mean,
that's basically, you're looking at your ticket going, please, Cooper Flag, please, God, let me come up there. I don't want to go to hell.
And I right now they're in sixth place, sixth worst. They need to get the fifth to have, as Bodner told us, they need to get the fifth worst to have more than 50% chance of keeping this pick.
Yeah.
They don't have a chance to get the 1 or 2.
Well, the beauty is they're going to
Toronto. They're one game better than, I think.
Yeah, I mean, in the way they're constituted now, they can't win.
Right.
I mean, they shouldn't win, but there might be a night where Grimes scores 60. Like
Randy Rubart is listing all the things that went wrong, and then people are saying what he missed. And he was like, he reached his character limit. That's why he missed. That's why he couldn't add other things. He's got Nolan's Noel, Okafor, Fultz, Toby, Ben Simmons, Jimmy, Brett Trading, McKell, Sesame Seed Allergy, Al Horford, Maurice a liar, burner account, GM, Orbital Bones.
Orbital Bones. Wow, I forgot about that.
Crazy.
I completely forgot about that. But it's all true. Now, it's why, like to bring it back full circle here, the NHL trade deadline's today.
Yes.
And the Flyers are stocked, right? Like the coffers are filled with draft capital.
Yes.
Which means you can make trades, you can trade up, you can trade for players, right? Like you got cap space. I'm hoping for 2 more trades today. Like keep it going.
Yes.
But the beauty of that team is, it's why I'm so excited about them, is that after all those years, because let's face it, 2010 was an awesome, great time. It was the party of all parties. They squeak into the playoffs on the last day of the season in a shootout.
Mm-hmm.
And then they go on that run.
Great drama.
Right? Like they're down 3-0 to Boston. I mean, that's one of the greatest victories ever. Coming back 3-0 to win this series, you're down 3-0 in Game 7. I've never seen anything like it.
You think we got a shot? We got a shot.
That was still one of the greatest games that never gets talked about in the history of this town. That was really it.
Yeah, I mean, it's almost like,
I mean, from the early part, from the end of Lindros to now, that was the one moment. Yep. That was it.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, the one Penguin series that was a ton of fun where Giroux went nuts right? That's it. But now at least, like, they finally wiped it all clean. Like, they've cleaned. You always bring up the cleaning analogy, right? So they've wiped everything clean.
Yeah, because we're so used to previous Flyers, a few games, 4 points out of the playoffs. They're trading for, I don't know. I feel I can't even remember who they traded for. All these aging veterans that were 3 years past their prime, trying to make a splash.
Well, they've always done the Daryl Sittlers of the world, like all those great players from back in the day. Like they were always get to the end of the career.
2 days late with them.
Except for JR. JR still had some
gas. JR had a good run here.
Yeah. But to your point, like, this is it. Like, now they're finally clean of all of it. And now you could just kind of build your building. You have a foundation. You have a centerpiece in Michkov, right? Who, even on a bad night, gives you the highlight.
Gives us something. Yeah, we had to wait till late in the third period, but everyone was happy. Right. But here's to the point, like, where the pulse of the people are. I don't know. The place I'm in has 12 TVs. 10 are Flyers, 1 is Sixers, and 1 was a UAB basketball game. But Flyers are what people want to watch. No, I did not. No. I did. I gave out Sam Houston in the chat, and I lost on the hook. But we're getting good. It's getting fun with the college hoops.
Yes, it is. All right. We got lots to get to. Bill Matz from the All PHLY Flyers show. Billy is a blast, man. Fun. Just a great showman, man. Billy is a great talent, by the way. And he does a great job with Charlie on our All PHLY Flyers show, which we love, very proud of it. And a little bit later on, the Brain, Jeff McLane, who covers the Birds, will join us, come up at 10.
A lot of social media drama going on yesterday with Slay and
CJ. Right, we'll get into all that stuff with Jeff coming up at 10. And then, to visit with our Rothman doctors, and we got TV Todd. So we got a full slate of everybody to hang out with today. Let's talk about some of our friends and partners, like the BetParx Sportsbook online casino app. All right, the Brain's going to be with us a little later on. We'll have some picks for the weekend, kind of get you ready. This is where it all starts. The conference tournaments are underway. We actually have day basketball today.
Mm-hmm.
There's nothing better than weekday day basketball. And all next week, you're going to see like the noon start, the 2 start, the 4 o'clock start, 6 o'clock. It's great. Like I'm looking forward to just diving in the wall-to-wall hoops.
We got Gardner Webb High Point at noon today.
Right. And the beauty of where we're at now is if you're a sports junkie like we are, you have the day basketball is the tournament. That gets us into March Madness. And then you turn around, you come out of it, you come up for air, and there's baseball. And there's the fighting Phillies. So we got lots to get to. It's a fun month, then leading into the draft and everything else. But the BetParx has you covered through all of that stuff. That app is the best. All right? Brain talks about live in-game stuff you got. Parlays and same-game parlays. It's all right there on the BetParx Sportsbook online casino app and the casino games. My man over here, he loves it. Live dealer blackjack, roulette, craps. It's all there, and all the hot online slots. What's your slot?
I did another. I mixed it up yesterday. Betty the Yeti.
Betty the Yeti?
Yeah.
So the Betty the Yeti comes out and gives you money?
Yeah, bonuses and stuff. You get some Yetis.
There you go. All right, that's great, man.
Yeah, she's
Betty
cute.
the
She's
Yeti.
cute. She's got nice hair. Like, she's got her hair's coiffed and stuff.
Way to go,
Betty the Yeti. Yeah, she's fashionable.
I think he's got a little something for
He
Betty
likes
the
Betty,
Yeti.
yeah,
he
you can
digs
tell.
it. Joey Marone likes her, too.
He's a Betty guy.
He's a Betty man, too. By the way, you get up to $1,000 casino bonus back. If you're down the first 24 hours, just remember you got to be 21. You got to be in PA, New Jersey, Michigan, Maryland, Ohio. If you have a gambling problem, please call 1-800-GAMBLER.
All right, let's talk about TrueMark Financial Credit Union, and they're there to help you out as always. And we all need savings. You got to have the emergency fund set up in case something comes up, some home repairs, car repairs, whatever. So you got to get those savings in. Savings accounts these days are minimal interest. So spring into some savings with TrueMark Financial Credit Union. If you've got some financial goals, whether it's buying a house, taking that dream vacation, or building up that emergency fund, TrueMark Financial Credit Union's got the perfect savings account for you. They got high rate certificates, money market accounts, and they all help your money work a little harder, grow a little faster, compound that interest a little better than those big box banks. So visit TrueMark.com for rates to learn more. They're federally insured by the NCUA. Rates are subject to change.
All right, buddy. By the way, I forgot, but Tony the ref reminded me. We forgot we could have drafted Dirk Nowitzki too.
Thanks, Tony.
All right.
You guys all trying to squash the Friday vibes here. Stop it, everybody. He's a man.
Could have had Dirk.
Oh, come on.
The German Moses. Dirk.
Oh, what was your DJ
Flula.
name? Flula.
Do you remember? He
Yeah, I
became
remember.
star Flula.
He did. He blew up a little bit.
Yeah.
You were on him early.
Yeah. I got to get Flula for the Germany. If the Eagles ever go to Germany.
What with Max Kepler?
Yeah.
You get a little
Yeah.
Flula.
Yeah. There you go. I used to have him do all these songs. They're hysterical. He did a Doc Halliday.
No,
Yeah.
I do remember
He's
that.
like a snake charmer with a four-seam fastball.
I remember that.
That dude was the best. He was out of his mind. Oh my God. Somehow you got to find that somewhere. It's floating around. All right, but let's talk a little hockey. NHL trade deadline. Man, it's some Brock Nelson goes to Colorado. Yeesh.
Mm-hmm.
Oh my God. The ads are ridiculous.
They're a team that
McKinnon-
I feel like they're always good too.
Oh my God, McKinnon is sick. Him and McCarr last night, Cal McCarr,
Yeah.
I think they combined for like 14 points. They were like, McKinnon's unbelievable, man. Anyway,
Yeah.
let's welcome our boy. He's the best. Bill Matz. Billy!
Good morning, Anthony. What up, VG? Happy trade deadline day to all who celebrate.
I love you, dude. You got a great spirit. The minute, when you come in here, you immediately like bring up the vibes.
Yeah, because we need this the way we're talking about these Sixers. This is what I needed.
Gotta bring the spirit up. Gotta go out, get Paul Coffey, Adam Oates today. Gotta bring up
Adam
back-
Oates?
Adam Oates.
Gotta go for it. Tony Amonte. It's
Tony
our day.
Oh my
you know?
God.
Oh, dude, it's like a top 50 all NHL past their prime.
Yes.
Primo, Layer Cave. Who else? Adam Oates is a great one.
Just the 95 All-Star team
Coffey.
in 2004. It was great.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, dude.
It was all the guys who killed it on NHL 94.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we get them 10 years later.
JR.
If you had a swingers promo, you were in there. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. All right, buddy. So let's talk about this deadline today. And what do you think? Is Scotty on the move?
I do think it's going to be, I got to believe Scott Lawton is getting drafted today. When you see some of the prices going for these players, whether it's Tampa Bay paying up a pair of firsts for like Yanni Gourde, Oliver Bjorkstrand, like Tampa doesn't care. They're in this championship window, they believe, and they'll pay out. But teams just really seem to be targeting centers. And Scott Lawton, there's been a market for him for years. I think the Flyers are finally willing to part with him. I think this is it, and I think they get a good return for him.
Yeah, dude, I'm with you. And you're right. The movement, and it started yesterday. Wow. I mean, it was wild. I can't believe Gourde fetched that. Like, are you kidding me?
It's been crazy for a few days now, and you see the Brock Nelson trade. There are just so many guys coming off the board. Now, you hope the Flyers aren't sitting there kind of musical chairs like, we're the one team that didn't offload our guy. But as long as the market stays the way it is, I can't see how they don't trade Scott Lawton.
Yeah, because it's an arms race, and you see it, and teams are ready to go all in. And, you know, I agree with you. I think Lawton goes. What about Ristolainen?
Ristolainen is a little more complicated. He has this year and 2 more left on his contract. I'm really surprised that there isn't more demand for Scott Lawton, that we just haven't heard his name more in rumors. But when you look at the available cap space teams have, the Flyers' number one priority with him is getting someone to take the whole $5 million for all 2+ years left. Not a ton of teams just have $5.1 million on the cap for this year. Maybe if it's more of an off-season thing when teams have more flexibility. I just don't know if there's enough teams to keep the Flyers interested in trading a guy they really like.
Hey, Bill, are they? The Darren Dreger had a report that they're paying for Ristolainen. They're asking for a first, a prospect, and a player. Are they kind of pricing themselves out of the market with him?
I guess you don't get without asking, right? You're gonna try to negotiate high, come in and ask for everything. Forever, we've heard that the price is a first round pick, and if that's all they wanted, I gotta believe this is done by now. So maybe they are raising their price, seeing if teams will meet it when they see the ridiculous prices being paid out. But that does sound like a lot for. Listen, I love Scott Laughton. He can play for my team any day. But in what role on a really good team? That seems like a lot for a guy that
was that long.
15 minutes
That was for
sounds like-
Ristolainen.
That was
for
Risto.
Ristolainen.
Oh, for Ristolainen. Okay. Yeah. If you're asking a team to take on the $5+ million for 2 years and this, like, that's a lot. And then you look at, and we want all this stuff too. That sounds like a pretty high asking price for Ristolainen. Doesn't sound like they're that interested in trading him if that's the price.
Right.
Is there anybody else that it could possibly be on the move?
Yeah, they have a couple of guys. Andrei Kuzmenko's on an expiring contract. They got him in the Farabee and Frost trade. I don't know what really his future is with this team. He's 29 years old and not sure he fits the timeline. Do you want to sign him to a contract extension at the end of the year? And Eric Johnson, who this is probably his last year in the NHL.
Yeah.
They got him at the deadline last year. He's only played a handful of games so far, but he's a decent enough depth defenseman. Maybe he wants to chase a cup one more time. I think he could go. And maybe a guy like Yegor Zamula, just a young defenseman. Maybe you could get a little something extra for him. But I think that's really it this year.
Yeah. No, listen, that all makes sense. Kuzmenko is interesting.
I kind of like him.
So do I. I do too. But, Billy brings up a good point. He just doesn't fit age-wise when you're building it. But I like him. I've always liked him. He's an all offensive player. He plays no defense, but
I
like
these Russians with the offense.
I do too. I do too. The big story in the league will be Rantanen and where he goes. Or if at all.
Yeah, last night it really seemed like he was going to Dallas. It's Carolina doesn't seem like they can re-sign him. They're going to move him to Dallas, and it was just a matter of Dallas working out a contract extension. I was up pretty late last night, and I wake up today, and doesn't seem as if that's done yet. You would think, okay, there's momentum on this contract. It's going to get done, but maybe there's more suitors involved. Maybe there's another team that wants to jump in. Carolina is interested in covering what's left of his contract. You can get Mikko Rantanen for like $2 million if you're willing to pay up to Carolina. So I think it doesn't seem like a done deal to Dallas all of a sudden. Maybe some more teams jump in, maybe the Maple Leafs, and that's kind of holding things up with Laughton. Whoever doesn't get the forward depth, now they start moving down their chart, and that's when we see a Laughton move. But it's going to be a busy day.
I actually think Toronto should go after him because they have a hole in their second line. We got Nylander, but you still need somebody else. I think Toronto could use him a lot. Dallas is interesting because Dallas has got all kinds of firepower.
No, they do. They've got some injuries on defense, but I think by the time the playoffs come around, they're going to be able to activate guys like Miro Heiskanen.
It was weird. They traded Klingberg to Edmonton, which kind of surprised me.
Yeah, it was. It's been a few years for John Klingberg, like dealing with a hip injury. No one's really sure how much you're going to be able to get out of him. Only a handful of guys have ever even come back from that surgery in the league, the hip resurfacing, and Edmonton's just desperate for depth defense. So that kind of just worked out for them.
Hey, Bill, are there, getting back to Laughton, are there any other centers out there if teams are looking for a center? Is he pretty much it?
So many guys have been moved over the last 24, 48 hours. I think Laughton is kind of climbing up that list of available centers where, I think he's the top of the list right now.
Wow. All right. So let's say they make a move, all right, and then you're continuing to stock the coffers. Let's look ahead to the draft. You're going to have all kinds of capital. This isn't a Celebrini draft. But is there guys that you're already looking at that you may covet? Is it something that they'll turn some of that capital into players in a trade? What's your vibe, your early vibe?
I do think they're going to try to take a swing on a trade for a roster player this summer. They already have 3 first-round picks this year. Their own looks like it's going to be well within the top 10. They're moving up the tankathon charts every day. They have 2 other firsts. They have 4 second-round picks. Their own and Anaheim's are going to be very high picks in the
first 2 rounds. That's outrageous.
So maybe they're going to be targeting like a 2026 first rounder, but I think they are going to use some of this capital. I'd be very surprised if they make 7 picks in the first, 55 picks of the draft or whatever it's going to be. I do think they're going to try to package some of these and maybe target that 1 seed that they're looking for, maybe shore up the defense, whatever it is. I do think they take a swing this summer.
Get back to the draft real quick. Is there anybody that you're looking at, like that you go, this kid could be a difference maker?
I do. While there isn't the Celebrini or Bedard in this draft that, okay, set and forget, this is our franchise guy, there are especially a few centers that are really good. Michael Misa, very good. Roger McQueen. There's a few of these guys, James Hagens, that have really stood out over the last couple of years. Going back a year, everyone's like, this 2024 draft, it's all about that 2025. And now suddenly the class might not look as strong. People didn't have as good a draft years, but I think there's enough, especially where the Flyers are drafting, that they should get some sort of difference maker. And if they can get in that top 5, I think they might have a chance at their 1C.
Yeah, I was looking through the mock drafts, and it seems like after the first pick, like 5 of the next 6 picks are all centers for the most part, people are saying. So it seems to be a center-heavy draft. Is that?
It is. Yeah, that was the thing about this draft when everyone was targeting it last year. There's so many centers. Last year, it wasn't the case. It seems like a defenseman's going to go number 1. And then, those next 4, 5, 6 picks, they could all be guys who have a chance to be a center on your first or second line. And that's what the Flyers are so badly missing.
So I will say this, and as we're talking about it, because this whole year has been fun. I mean, I'll be honest with you. Like, Michkov just makes it. When you have a player like him, it just heightens your interest. Like, I can't wait to, I love watching him every game.
It's a pleasure, honestly. It's been so long since we've had a player this good. And, before I came on, you guys were talking, we had to wait till late in the 3rd period, but that's a reward right there for everyone who stuck with that maybe worst game of the season that the Flyers played. They were god awful last night, but we just get that little glimmer. Oh, look at that. Oh, shutout going for 58 minutes, whatever it was. Yeah, Michkov just ripped one by him unassisted for his 20th of the season.
Yeah,
Bill, I'm not the biggest Torch fan. He's next year is the last year of his contract, I think. He's never gotten a power play right. And for me, teams that are...
You're still on him?
Teams are like...
Jeez, VG.
There are some games when they look...
Oh, leave him be, Torch. You know the plan.
There's some games when they look good, and then there's games like last night. They're wildly inconsistent. And I feel like that is usually a coaching issue.
That's going to completely rebuild.
Yeah, they're just so inconsistent. And if any other team that's inconsistent like that is a coaching problem, I know he doesn't have the studs, but do you like Torch?
I think Torts is a really good teacher. I think he's good for right now. When it's time to turn this ship around and win, I don't know if he's the guy just because he has such a way about him. Like, oh, yeah, I don't know. Yeah, we need a goal, but I'm mad at Michkov, so he's sitting 30 minutes. Like, I don't know if that's exactly how you go out and try to win. But for right now, giving these guys a baseline, playing the right way, having this understanding of how to play winning hockey, I think he's really good at that. Trying to actually go out and win, I don't know if that's what he is anymore.
So I guess I'm thinking like they have to either extend. He can't go. He's not going to go in as a final year. Are they going to extend him?
They told you the plan. He's going to go upstairs
next year, or he's going to coach a final year as a lame duck coach.
It doesn't matter. He's going to be part of the organization. No, it doesn't, because he's going to be part of the organization.
Does he have to be?
Yes, they've already told you he's going upstairs.
I would be surprised if he doesn't get at least a 1 or 2 year extension, because no one wants to coach on that lame duck year.
Right.
But I would assume next year's his last year actually behind the bench. And it's one of these, all right, and you coach 1 more year, and then next thing you're an advisor, and now you're the assistant GM or whatever role they want to give him as he moves upstairs. Because from the beginning, it's always felt like, oh yeah, this isn't just a coaching job, because coaches come and go in this league. He's been here less than 3 years. He's one of the longest tenured coaches in the league. I think it's more he wants to be a part of this restoring respect to the Flyers, like you said from the beginning. And that takes more than a few years behind the bench.
Basically told you that.
But does his hard-handed tactics work if you next year, if you know he's a one and done?
Stop.
It's going to be an interesting situation next year. I do think it's something they have to pay attention closely to.
The anti-tort. La torta.
Yeah, I know. It's like I can't criticize him because he's a paisan.
No, that's not nothing to do. Shut up. Stop trying to use that as an argument. It's ridiculous.
Listen, the Italian coaches in this town, it's hard to argue against them right now.
It's easy to argue against Torts. Come on. Come on.
Leave Torts alone. All right? He's a teacher. He's perfect for this. Bill's right. He's perfect for this group right now. All right? Who you want, Nick Nurse? Bum. Hey, Billy, what's
Those
on
poor
tap?
Sixers guys.
We got a major trade deadline day today. In fact, I know Vinny Pellegrini, our GM's coming in today.
Whoa.
On a Friday.
Whoa.
He never shows up on a Friday.
Does he know we have to, like, the elevator's down? No. Yeah, we have a
He's here and he's not here to do work. He's here for the deadline.
Oh, it's going to be a real fun day. We have a 2-hour show today, 2 to 4. We're going to be live right here on the PHLY Sports YouTube. Make sure you tune in. Going to be breaking all the stories. We're going to have people monitoring social. We're going to have guests breaking down all the moves for the Flyers and around the league. 2 to 4 p.m. today.
I love it. Well, I'll be watching. You're the man, Billy. You know we love you, buddy. You're
By the way,
you're good people,
in the
buddy.
chat, INS says Mussolini greater than Torts.
Thank you, Billy. We'll be watching
I love
today.
it. Love it, gentlemen. Thanks for having me.
See, pal. There he is, Bill Matz, old PHLY Flyers. Bill and Charlie are so good because they're so opposite, too.
I couldn't agree more. They are the odd couple.
Right?
Yes.
Like, Billy's gregarious, and Charlie's always smiling, and Charlie's serious.
So serious.
Right?
Yes.
A little OCD.
A little bit.
You know? All right. Time now.
Bill's got good lighting.
Well, really, Charlie looks in the dark. He comes at you. He looks like he's gonna be. Charlie is American Psycho.
Yeah, in a good way.
Right.
Yes.
I love Charlie. Time now. Speaking of psychos,
Oh, yes.
the
Great
brain.
Brain. Red the brain finder.
Brought to us by the BetPark Sportsbook online casino app.
Psycho in a good way.
Oh, without a doubt. You are a unique. You are a character, dude. Like
I should have been in a movie, right? I should have been in a movie.
well, you know what? You're so unique and weird in a good way. Like, because your life, it's not weird. It's just unorthodox. Your life is so interesting and so different than the normal, existence.
I
God
agree.
bless
You know what? And you're right. You're actually 100%
Like
right. It really is.
yesterday, your world was like all about the Caitlin Clark 1 out of 1 hard pull. Like, if I said that to the people in the streets, I'm in.
What the hell's that?
I'm in suburbia, right? Like, I live in the middle of suburbia with parents and kids, right? So I know all these parents. If I said to these parents, "Hey, did you see that Caitlin Clark pull yesterday for the $1 million card?" They would have said, "What's a pull?" Caitlin
Yeah,
Clark,
yeah.
and $1 million is for a trading card.
I didn't even when he was telling me this, telling the story. I didn't even understand it. I was so confused by it all.
But did you see the video that I
Yes.
sent
I
you?
did.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was fascinating.
Yeah,
Is it really,
yeah,
dude?
yeah.
It's unbelievable when you think about it. You know,
Yeah,
it's like
yeah,
it's
crazy.
like Willy
He got-
Wonka getting the gold
Well, you know what's
ticket.
interesting? He sent me, my buddy who got the thing sent me, all the auction houses have contacted him because, you know, they want to make their thing. And they're like, congratulations on this pull of a lifetime. You know, please come with us. We're going to get you the highest price. Because he's going to sell the card, which I think is the right move. But
Why
you know,
would you?
while the irons,
What
yeah,
do
I
you-
mean, I would be selling that.
I mean, really,
card
like
immediately.
if somebody drops, I don't know, a Caravaggio on me, right? If they drop a Caravaggio on me, I'm selling it, right? A Monet.
Yeah, I mean,
I'm
yeah,
going to
to me, I'd be
Monet
doing
into
the
the
same
bank.
thing.
So somebody gives me Caitlin
By the way, I'd be
Clark.
doing the same thing.
Thanks, Caitlin. You know?
I have a question for you. If somehow, I know it's a dumb thing, if it was a 2 of 2 and they're both worth $1 million, would you keep one in case it became worth some $10 million card? Or you'd sell them both?
See, this is where you're brilliant because you would hedge because that's how you make money. You're a hedge guy because you go, you know, that $1 million card becomes a $5 million card.
Right.
All right. So you're hedging. I see how your brain works. Me, I'm selling both. Give me
I'm cashing out.
yeah,
I'm liquidating.
I'm selling both. All right.
Yeah.
Brain, did you get a new chair?
No.
No,
Andrew.
the
No.
last time you were sitting, you looked a
Andrew.
little different the way you were sitting. I was like, oh, you looked a little lounging or
Speaking of
relaxing.
weirdos,
He just texted me
No,
asking
man, I don't-
me if Brain had a new chair.
speaking of psycho strangeoids,
Yeah.
my
Yeah.
man over here.
He sees everything.
Well, he was sitting back. Now he looks normal. He was sitting back relaxing.
I was relaxing.
Yeah, I'm not
We
used
were
to
just
that.
talking, shooting. You
Something
know
was
what?
off. I knew something was
His
off.
car
And
check.
by the way, I know you went the Pen, right?
Yes. Grad
Yeah, I
student.
like the Pen hat. I know my dad went there. Always
Oh,
like to see a Pen
The
representation.
Quaker.
yeah. The
That's
Quakers.
awesome.
Yeah.
All right. We got hoops, daytime hoops today.
We do have some daytime hoops today, but it's funny. But by the way, Anthony went 2-0 in my system yesterday, taking the better team, taking points.
So who was the
in-
who were
Yesterday it was it was I had a 6.5 point favorite up 15 at half. I think it could have been Illinois State. They were 6.5 point favorite up 15, taking 1 in the second half, and it's funny. This is what happens though when these kind of games.
So how
when it
do you
gets too
tell
high.
who's the better team? Is it just
Well,
you-
the
your
spread.
power
I trust
rankings?
the number.
right?
Well,
okay.
Well, yeah, I mean, they're a 6.5 point favorite on a neutral. They were like 18 and 13. The other team was like
Okay.
9 and 19. I
Right.
mean, well, you know, they were just clearly the better team.
No, I didn't know
Um,
if there's some
and
sort
they-
of system that you.
No.
Okay.
Just go. The spread on a neutral tells you who the better team is
Right.
on that day. And it was a 6.5 point favorite up. I think they were up 15, and I was taking 1. But it was funny. They were up 22 with like, and this does happen. They were up 22 with a minute and a half to go, and it landed on 16. Because what happens is at the way end, the other team usually tries to shoot with 1 second on the clock. The other team's trying to score. But it got there, and there was another situation where I had it was 2 6-point favorites. I was like a 6-point favorite up 12, and I was taking, I think, a half, and they won by like 16. So both similar situations. Team on a neutral, not taking a lot of points, but trying their hardest, taking points in a tournament game they need to win, 2-0. And those are, you know, again, those are gold for me. I mean, I wait all year for these spots.
Gold. So,
Better
Brain,
team.
Right,
better team
you
taking
text
points.
us the Caitlin Clark poll, which was great to watch. How about
Yeah.
you text us when you're doing these live things? Give us a little heads up so we can.
All right, well,
zone in on
I'll,
you.
I'll text you. I'll text you.
If you-
Again, these are good bets that I'll be making throughout the tournament. NBA playoffs is what I really like. That's like my favorite is the NBA playoffs, which we're not that far away from. I guess we're about a month away, give or take. But I will text you, my friend, and you will do well. That's my favorite, biggest part of the year. If I'll put it this way, if I don't do well during that, ain't going to be a good year for me because these are my biggest bets of the year by a zillion. I wait
Even
all
more
year to
than
get
football, NFL stuff.
Oh, not even in the same stratosphere. I wait all year for this. Call it 2 months makes or breaks my year. Fortunately, it's always made it. But I mean, I bet way more on this. First of all, I can bet whatever I want on it, like a football game. And my edge on this, I find to be incalculably higher than it is on anything I'm able to bet in football, because I can't get down when I want on the props. Okay. I can never get down this kind of money on a prop. And quite frankly, I think these bets are as good as any prop I'm putting in. So this is stuff I go extremely aggressive on, and hopefully it goes my way, but there's never a guarantee it will. But knock on wood, I haven't lost doing it in about 25 years. They've been on a pretty good streak. But again, I always say it again, you've the better team taking points, trying their hardest. Better team taking points, trying their hardest. Very powerful tool.
Yeah.
Very powerful tool.
Yeah.
That really can't lose if you think
you
about
did
it.
well on your props list, like Josh Hart.
We went 2-1. We went 2-1. We went 2-1. I had a couple friends, buddy of mine, told me they did the PRA as well, which won as well. He got there in the points easily, got there in the rebounds, wasn't sharing the ball, didn't get there in the assist, but yeah, it still got there. I do have a couple things tonight, guys.
Hey, real quick before you get off that, it is interesting. The Lakers, man, Lakers are good. They came back. Knicks had that game.
Yeah, they did.
They were up double digits.
They
were
were
led most of the fourth quarter, and that Laker team came back. Luke is out of his mind.
And again, I don't mean to keep talking about it. Again, that trade to me, and I don't know how. I could talk about this for like 30 years. I don't know how this Nico Harrison guy has a job, because to me, you talk about fireable offenses. To me, that was the worst job of understanding the asset that you had and capitalizing on that asset. I don't care if this guy was freaking Matilda the Hun. He was going to be valued in this league, and they would have been able to extract. So when you're negotiating against one person, you have no power. Do you know what? I don't know how much is true or not. They said supposedly Pelinka convinced Nico Harrison, yeah, you're right. Luke is a huge risk. He's fat. He's out of shape. No one's going to want him. And he's like, yeah. I mean, it's like, oh my God. I can't handle it.
I know.
It's going to make my head
silly.
explode. That someone could be that. Again, think about it in life. What I love about athletics, guys, the best players play, right? You can't argue LeBron James is great, or Patrick Mahomes, whoever, Saquon Barkley.
Nathan
Guys
McKinnon.
running teams is so inefficient. You have a guy, Nico Harrison, who just he set the franchise back 20 years with one swoop. 20-year kickback. We're done. Just because he is that and I'll use the word incompetent. There's no word I could ever use enough to say just how incompetent. I don't understand how things like this ever happen in life. To me, it's just, it's fast. And when you talk about the A.J. Brown thing yesterday, again, you see something like this. Remember you, Anthony, when you had the talk show radios, people calling you up saying, Anthony, I think we should trade Joel Embiid for Luka Doncic and 10 first-round picks. Like, yeah, stop it. Don't be silly. When a trade like this happens, it gives fodder to people to think they can get away with stuff. Because if this could happen, they think anything's possible.
I hear you.
But you're right. The Lakers, people said LeBron couldn't play with Luka. Are you kidding me? The two most
they look great together.
Unselfish. God, these guys can do anything. Are you kidding me? These guys can't play together.
I know. It's stupid. All right. Well, what do you got today for us?
Well, Anthony, look, Jalen Brunson did leave injured. Okay. And he's not going to play tonight. Okay. But I got to tell you, they're still going to play. They have, what's his name? Oh my God. McBride. Nowhere near Jalen Brunson. I'm not comparing him. But he could score, and I actually think he's a good athlete. When I watched him, I was like, this guy can actually do some
Miles
things.
McBride's a player. I like him as a backup.
Yeah. Anthony,
they got the Clippers tonight.
Points. They're getting 8 points. Who the hell are the Clippers to be laying 8? Clippers have lost, what 7 of 8 or really? They've been horrible. Why are they laying 8 points against the Knicks? I think that's an asinine line, and I don't say that lightly.
I think it's an overreaction to a game that goes to overtime. Right, but here's the truth of the matter is, they're in LA. They're not traveling.
Exactly.
They're going back to the hotel.
Exactly.
They'll come back to the arena for the shoot around. They just got used to the rims. They're playing on the same floor. You're right. I think it's a great play.
A joke. Now the other game, not quite sure. And I got to monitor the injury situation. But as of now, I'm planning on making this a pretty nice size bet too. I believe Bam Adebayo is playing. I believe Tyler Hero is playing. I believe Andrew Wiggins is playing. if those three guys play, which they're getting 6 points at home against Minnesota, and they're fighting for the playoffs. Okay, they are fighting for the playoffs. I think that's close. I'm not going to say 50-50, but I think that line's closer to maybe Minnesota by 3, not 6. 6 is a lot of points to win by, in this case, 7. They can win by 7 on the road. If we get Heroes or 25-point leading scorer playing, and Wiggins, who'd been injured, I like the Heat to keep the game close at home, and I'm getting to be a close must-win game for them. And I'll give you a couple props, guys, before I let you run. Stephon Castle, now Rookie of the Year leader. His last 4 games, he's averaging like 23. They've raised his minutes drastically. I think he's 16.5 points right now is too low for him.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's too low for him. I think he gets to over 16.5. Jamal Murray, 36-19, under 23.5 points. I think it's a tad too high. As good as he is, I think that's a little bit too high.
All right. Here
For
he
Jamal
is.
Murray.
Check out early. It looks like easy money, Brain. High Point. High Point versus Gardner Webb. High Point's only given up 15. They've beaten Gardner Webb by like 26 and 41. So 15 seems really thin.
Oh, I
It's a
mean,
noon game. We're going to kick it off. It's a noon game. It's how we do it on Friday.
and listen, we'll see. Look, maybe it'll be one of my halftime plays. We will see. But that was not on my list. But again, anytime you can get High Point, it's always a good day. It's a high point of our weekend is taking High Point, right?
Let's hope the High Point's not Friday at noon. Try and get
That's a good point.
little something going on. But
Good stuff, Brain. Thanks, buddy.
Appreciate you guys.
We appreciate you. Here he is. The Brain. Brain. High Point at noon today.
yeah, give you a little fun at noon. Gardner Webb, High Point. High Point's run them
You know
out
what I
of the
just
gym
like?
twice.
You know what's funny? Like today, I've had a really busy week, right? So I'm actually looking forward to, we have no sports today. Nothing, right? We got baseball coming up over the weekend. But I'm just looking forward to kind of, I shut my eyes and hearing the squeak of the sneakers.
Oh, yeah.
Like, I love that sound. I love sounds of
Mhm.
sports. And like baseball's got sounds. I close my eyes. Basketball, hearing just squeaks, I love it.
Wait till we get you hearing it in surround sound.
Yeah.
Oh,
You're-
man.
You're right.
Yeah.
You'll be in
I
heaven.
get
Yeah.
over there as
You'll
soon
be in
and hook them up.
Lancaster heaven.
So we had this argument earlier before the show. How do you say, Joey, how do you say that region in Dutch country, in the Amish country? Well, how do you say that town? Lancaster. How do you pronounce it?
Lancaster or Lancaster?
Lancaster.
Yeah.
Thank you,
Yes.
Joey.
Yes.
Lancaster.
The chat is on my side, though.
One person.
No,
One
there's like
Barker's-
2.
Two people.
Lancaster.
It's
Who
Lancaster.
says
It's
Lancaster?
Lancaster or
Lancaster.
Lancaster.
Yes.
Yes.
Lancaster.
Lancaster.
Where's that from?
It's Lancaster.
You're right. It's
You just said
Lancaster. You're right.
Lancaster.
No, it's not
No,
No, you're
Lancaster.
messing me up. You're messing. You guys got jumbling me up.
We're not messing you
It's
up. We're helping
Lancaster.
you. We're
It's
helping you.
Lancaster, all right? Foot
Dude, what's
down.
up with these floods? Why?
I wish.
Where's
Can
he
we
going?
get someone to build some kind of other end of the desk so we
Guys,
can't see his
You
legs
guys
and
are
his
always so worried about my
shoes?
pants.
Bro, he's
They're
got
so
the-
high, dude.
Well,
I can
he's
see
got
them.
the
Because
high-
I'm sitting. Because I'm sitting. If I,
No, but he's got the high pants.
Joey's
Look,
sitting. I don't see
see?
his calves
Yeah.
I got
and he's
big
got
legs.
skinny ankles. They're like the old man.
with the high waist
yeah,
socks.
high white socks.
I got
He's
long
Uncle
legs.
Junior. What is Union jersey on?
Hey, they play
Mr.
this weekend.
Lancaster.
Lan-
Lancaster.
Is that
Lancaster.
appropriate for you right
What?
there? Look,
Still kind of high.
hand to shoe.
I mean, you're showing ankle.
Oh, come on.
I mean, you know.
Fit it.
Yeah, you can't see my ankles.
Yeah.
You can't see Cuz's. You can't see Joey's ankles.
Yeah. You're.
I got longer legs, all right?
You got to get longer pants. What does he say? Sweatpants.
Yeah,
Hey,
sweatpants.
get yourself some appropriately fitted sweatpants.
All right. Let's talk about some of our friends, shall we? As this portion of the program, The Brain, brought to us by the Bet Parks Sportsbook online casino app. And we got a couple of our fine sponsors.
Talk about some glad stuff.
Do it.
Yeah. Let's help out the people out there that I can relate to suffering from a little receding hairline, a little thinning out. Well, good news. Glad Hair's there for you. Glad Hair's been restoring and defending hairlines for over 30 years. So it's no wonder they got the reputation that they do. Their proven results and experienced team are only a few reasons the Glad name has stood the test of time. Glad Hair by Morgenstern Medical isn't just about restoration, it's about innovation. Their breakthrough specialized Glad Hair techniques dramatically change lives and hairlines. The Glad Hair technique consists of one-on-one care, 100% personalized hair restoration plan of action designed just for you and your specific hair loss. Follow-up care, and they got cutting-edge hair loss prevention treatments, medications, and more. Glad Hair's there to help you keep the hair you already have and to help bring back what you've already lost. So if you'd like some more information and are ready to defend that hairline, today visit gladhairmm.com, gladhairmm.com, or you can call or text 610-980-4000.
All right. Now I'm excited. We have a new sponsor, and I'm excited to try the product. I cannot wait to try this. It's called Timeline. Now, Timeline is a health longevity supplement. All right. The supplements feature proprietary Mito Pure ingredient in these supplements.
I like pure stuff.
Mito Pure,
Yeah.
MITO Pure.
Yeah.
All right. Now, Mito Pure works with the cells in your body to help reverse age-related decline.
Sounds good.
Now, I need that. And,
Yeah.
when my boys are active, Anthony says to me, Daddy, because he speaks like that. Hey, what do you think we can, because he's got rowing in spring, then I'll have football workouts. He's like, can you and I start going back to the gym? Because him and I would go lift. And I'm like, yeah, man. I'm like pumped up spring. I got to get started back in the gym lifting.
Mhm.
And he's like, well, let's go. And meanwhile, he's now like blown by me.
Right.
Right. I still worry about trying to get my shoulder to throw to Moss.
Dude, it's got to be great to have your workout partner be your boy.
Yeah, it's the best. So, but at Mito Pure, I need it. All right. The benefits include increased strength, energy, endurance. I mean, this is a big deal. They have done 15 plus years of research and secured 30 plus US patents for their products. Check out the Timeline website. All right. This is really interesting stuff. The cells in our bodies are the building blocks of life. And Timeline is a supplement that works with those cells to help give you more energy, feel stronger during workouts, and preserve health and mobility as you start to age. All right? That's you and me, buddy.
The mobility.
All right? The patented ingredient, again, Mito Pure, it's a postbiotic nutrient that clears out our dysfunctional mitochondria. All right?
Yeah,
AKA
let's get rid of
your
dysfunction.
cells' battery packs.
Yeah.
So let's clean it up and just get nuts. Ready to go. Right now, Timeline gives you 10% off of your order of Mito Pure. Go to timeline.com/PHLY to get started. That's timeline.com/PHLY.
I'm in.
Yeah,
The
Joey
boys
and
are
I
all in. They all
also
got.
in. We
They all,
have our own supply.
they're young and they're.
Day two, guys. I
Day
took
two.
mine
Yeah,
yesterday.
we're trying it out.
Yeah, I took mine yesterday. I'm looking forward to it. I got to get,
Yeah,
he's a
same
kid,
here.
man. He's got football workworkouts. Uncle Spags was looking at him. I go, he's going to come in down the shore.
Yeah,
So I go, Anthony's going to work Anthony out.
that's
Nice.
awesome.
Nice.
Yeah. All right. It's 10 o'clock across the Delaware Valley.
By the way, Boomer in the chat lives in the area and says it's Lancaster.
Lancaster.
They live there. They know. They say.
All right. We have Jeff.
Yes, we have Jeff.
All right. Please. All right. One of the great football people. He has covered this team for a long time. He's fantastic. He, of course, is the great Jeff McLane from the Inquirer, Inquirer.com. Jeffrey, how do you say that town that's in Amish country?
Lancaster?
Thank
Yes.
Okay.
you. The producer's saying Lancaster.
Lancaster.
No, no.
Yeah.
Lancaster.
Right. You hear that? He's trying to be nice and not call you
I can tell. Yeah.
a Bobo.
Yeah, I can tell.
I don't know. I get them a bit wrong myself.
Where you at, man? You look almost ominous.
I have the background cloudy because I'm in my son's room. So
Oh, nice. How are the boys doing?
good. Everyone's good. No complaints. The oldest son is home from school for spring break, so we got a full house.
Ah, you must love that. Baseball? Are they ready or what?
Baseball, yeah, the youngest one's playing still, and he's practicing. I'm sure your sons are too.
Yeah. Yeah. It was
Getting ready.
we had a game Saturday in Delaware County. It was freezing. Like the
Oh, wait, you're already
wind-
playing games?
Well, it was really a scrimmage exhibition, and you just get work done it right in the field because you're indoors the whole time. Up here, you got to get on the field. You can't really do much glove work inside. It's just you need you need better. You need to be outside.
Yeah, especially with fly balls, and then also working on cutoffs and all the
Yeah.
other stuff that you have to do when you're playing a game.
So you don't know that Jeff's a big time baseball man.
He is?
Oh,
I
yeah.
would have no clue.
Oh yeah, he's big time baseball. He's a sportsman.
Baseball's probably my favorite sport.
Nice.
Yeah, he's a big time sportsman. That's why I love. We always connected over it.
Nice.
Big time sportsman. All right, we got free agency starting on Monday. Like the whole thing. Well, the tampering period and the whole thing.
Tampering period,
Yeah, happens. Curious, right? You heard about Hendrickson in Cincinnati. We know about Myles Garrett. Is there you see any kind of play there for that kind of talent?
Yeah, Joey Bosa is another big
Yeah.
name out there, and he can just be signed because he was completely released. I think obviously there's some obstacles to Garrett because number one, the Browns have said they're not going to trade him. I'm not sure I completely believe them. I mean, if everybody's available for the right offer, but from what I understand, they're asking a lot. And on top of the fact that I'm not really sure that Howie wants to give up that much or even has that much, then you got to pay him. And I don't know if the cap situation is kind of in their favor in terms of signing like someone like that. And then they got to pay John Carter next year, and you have to look ahead to that. And he's probably going to get the biggest contract ever for any defensive lineman, is my guess. And honestly, Garrett probably would command that now, even though he's 30. Look, you never say never with Howie, and big names. He can be a big name hunter. So I wouldn't rule that out. Hendrickson, I don't know if he's,
I don't see it.
He's 32. He's 30,
Yeah.
right? He's also 30. I don't think he would be. I don't think Bosa's the guy either. Too. I think he's really on the decline. But he might be someone that makes a little more sense, at least because I don't think he's going to command much. Yeah, he's not. And yeah, right.
And he's a guy that actually kind of intrigues me a little bit because he may want to ring chase a little bit. Like he may look and say, you know what, this is a good opportunity. He's made a lot of money. And that's the kind of guy that comes in here. You've built the way Howie and the Eagles have built their culture. They're a destination franchise, and I could see it.
Absolutely. So they have that to their advantage. There's probably only a handful of teams that I think you can go into next year thinking, oh, they have Super Bowl chance. Maybe a little more than that, maybe a dozen if you're really going to stretch it. But they're definitely at the top of the list, and they've done that before. Typically, it's a guy maybe not as big of a name, but like Chris Long, obviously he had won a Super Bowl with the Patriots, but I'm thinking somebody in that regard. If you're thinking about the defensive end position, because otherwise, why not just re-sign Josh Sweat to like a 3-year deal? And I mean, I get it. He's 28, and you always worry about the knee with him, but I don't know. I would just bring Sweat back if you're kind of really looking to spend a certain amount of money at that position.
Yeah, I'm with you. I don't see it. Again, maybe a Bosa if the deal's right. And the beauty is the Eagles hold the cards there. And from what I hear, and you'll know better than I do, but from what I hear, when they talk about a maintenance year, they mean it. Like this is, they're thrilled with these two deals, right? Like they're happy that they got Bond done, and they're happy about Barkley, and it kind of made sense for them. the Becton situation is interesting because he likes it here so much. What's your read on the Becton?
Yeah, I think that obviously plays into the Eagles' favor. The fact that he has been so open about his love of Philly and every, obviously it helped turn around his career and playing for Jeff Stoutland, and then he'd remain at right guard, and I think that factored a little bit into the whole kind of the ease in which they got Zach Bond signed. He knew that playing in this scheme was going to benefit him, and I think Mackay has spoken to that as much when you're talking about the offensive line. That being said, I don't think they're willing to spend a heck of a lot there. I think it's going to have to be a team-friendly deal or something of that nature, at least from what I'm hearing, and the people I talk to within the building and out. But I would not rule it out because, again, as you said, he knows that this may be the best spot for him if he wants to keep playing at a certain level.
Yeah. Their line. I sat down with Spags yesterday for like an hour, so we're going to air that on Monday, cool. And we went through the game. So kind of like what the attack was, what his plan was, what he was thinking, and everything. And we spent a good time talking about just their line and their approach. He's like, dude, they're just such a handful. They're so big, they're so good. And that right side is really just formidable. And, truthfully, he goes, and when you think about it, they hold Barkley to 25 to 57 yards on 25 carries. He's like, man, I would have done that. I would have, you told me these are the numbers. I'll take it every day of the week. Yeah.
The O-line's the key, right? I mean, to that offense or, on the other side of the ball, the D-line, when you think about it. And they didn't have a weakness at all five spots. That being said, I would say if there was a weakest link, it's probably Mackay, especially in pass protection. I mean, in pass protection. I mean, he was a road grader on the ground. I mean, he could just totally toss guys. But they're also going to probably extend Cam Jurgens this off season. So you're talking about the four other guys being on long-term deals. And I know Lane's on the end of his career, but he's still getting paid a heck of a lot of money. And in fact, I wouldn't be surprised if he gets a little bit of a bump in pay, maybe another year added onto his contract this off season. So I don't know. It's going to be tough to pay all five guys. And you don't technically really look at it that way because you're just looking at the cap all across the board when you're talking about how you allocate your dollars. But I think that does factor into a little bit. And they probably think that we can just slide someone in there and they'll be just as productive. Tyler Steen's been okay. Now he needs to be better. He needs to be more consistent if he's going to lock down that job. But they have other avenues to get somebody else as well, as we've seen how we do. And there's the draft, and and I think they have to also start preparing maybe for the end of Lane's career. So maybe this is the year that you take an offensive lineman high in the draft with the expectation maybe he starts in guard and then he bumps out to tackle when Lane retires.
Well, if you look ahead to the draft too, when you talk about roster building, it's rich in D line, so you're going to look there. You mentioned O line, and it's a good tight end draft, and I think they need a tight end.
Well, I kind of mentioned this on my podcast. There was some grounds, some just I guess rumoring. I don't know how to even say it, but like just there's. I mean, I was asking a lot about Dallas Goedert because I wasn't really sure. You look at his deal; he's getting a lot of money. It's like a lot of cash this year. It's like 14.5, but that money isn't guaranteed. So okay, that all of a sudden raises bells. Sounds the bells, and then you're also thinking, well, he's still productive, and he may look at that deal and say, you know what, I'm better off as a free agent. I want them to release because I'll get top dollar. He'd probably be the top free agent out there on the market. So are the Eagles willing to? Because they're gonna have to do something here. I think they got to either pay cut, restructure, or release, or maybe possibly trade. I don't know if that's in the cards as well. I think it's going to be tough to bring him back on that dollar. I mean, he's good when he's playing. He's one of the best tight ends when he's healthy. The problem is he just hasn't been able to stay healthy. And, some of them are fluky, some of them are not. But it just seems to be a thing with Dallas of late, and you have to factor that into it. Now, the other thing is that they don't really have an obvious guy to step in to his shoes. So, whereas with Mackay, there's Tyler Steen, with Josh Sweat, there's Alex Hunt. Like you have some guys, and I don't want to disparage Grant Calcaterra because he did a nice job when Goddard was
Yeah,
out.
but he's not a one. He's not a number one tight end.
I don't think they envision him being a number one. And I think maybe more so because of just the blocking. He needs to be more consistent as a blocker. And if you saw the run numbers when Dallas is in there versus when Grant was in there, they were different. So the draft.
Well, Goddard seals the edge. Like Goddard's good at sealing.
He's really good in run. He's a really good blocker. That's maybe one of the more underrated parts of his game. Because he is so good catching it and catching it with it and getting yards after the catch. But so if you're looking for a possible replacement, then you have to kind of maybe go into the draft thinking, oh, we need to get a tight end. Now, I don't think Howie wants to be in that kind of situation where he's like really pushing for it.
Right.
But the draft where you can get a guy, I don't know if obviously I don't think they're playing those first two guys, but they can get a good one in the second, third, or fourth round possibly.
Oh yeah. How about you think they'll look at it back too?
Running back, yeah, maybe. In the draft, yeah, possibly. They like Will Shipley. I don't know if he's like kind of the bona fide number two to Saquon Barkley. I don't know if you can completely trust him in that role. Maybe you bring in another veteran type guy, just a guy that's a little older to help supplement that because I'm not sure if Kenny Gainwell is going to be back, and they're going to have to start thinking about Saquon's touches a little bit here.
Yes.
I'm not saying rest him or whatever it is. He touched, I think he had almost 500 total touches last year, including the postseason. That's a lot. That's over 100 more than he's ever had in his career.
I mean, we saw McCaffrey, right? Like, you saw that happen, right? Like, were you as great a shape, right? I mean, he's, for as many carries, as many touches as he had, you could argue, well, it wasn't as taxing because of second level and he's in great shape. But touches are touches, man, right? Like, miles are miles. They might be highway miles instead of city miles, but they're still miles.
And he doesn't avoid contact.
No.
Like he'll lower his shoulders, man, and he'll. There were times it runs last year. I was just like, wow, he's bringing that too. I mean, he just has it all. But as you say, those are miles, and they wear on you a little bit.
So it's funny because yesterday you had to deal with the CJ GJ Slay drama. What?
I mean, I don't really deal with it because to me, it's just like, until you really know what they're saying and talking to them about it, because it's just all social media stuff. But I think CJ's a different guy. Slay's a little bit of a different guy too. But I mean that probably in a nice way for both of them.
Yeah.
But they have their way of doing things, and guys are on social media, and maybe something gets relayed to them, maybe the way that it wasn't really accurate in terms of what was said. But like again, Reed Blankenship was on the leadership council for the safety position this past year. So it just kind of makes sense for Slay to mention him. And quite frankly, Slay is a really good leader. Now, CJ GJ stepped up this year. I mean, I really thought there were moments when, I could see that he was having an impact, and he was definitely keeping guys in line. And he was, it was tough because typically he's the guy that he's more the kind of like instigator, the more the kind of like rabble rouser, the trash talker. He kind of gets them ready that way, and he kind of switched his role a little bit. But I think Reed's probably going to be extended this offseason, or maybe he's a candidate, I think, going into his last year. And I'm not, CJ doesn't have any guaranteed money after 2025, and they have young guys. They have Sidney Brown. If you ask me who's going to be here longer, I would say Reed more than CJ. Believe it or not.
Huh. Do you see Slay coming back on a friendly deal?
I think that should be in the cards. And from what I understand from inside the building, that's what they've told me, that don't write him off just yet. But he's gonna have to be willing to come back for a certain amount of money. And my guess is like he's going to get some pretty good offers for like a 1 year. That's all he wants to play is 1 year, and a team that could use again, like as we mentioned at the top, like a guy looking to win a ring or go to a place that's a winner. You can just add him in there, and he's going to play at a high level. You know, I thought it was gonna be a tough decision because I mean not because of the salary, but like and this is why they hadn't let him go, is because he played well last year. Like I don't get some of
He
the
did.
Slay hate.
Yeah.
Like that's a tough position. And look, I get it. He's not as fast as he was 5 years ago. And he'd be the first person to say that. But geez, he played great this year. And he played great in the scheme and he played great in the postseason. So I might roll it back another year with him. And then you have guys ready. You have Keely Ringo in case, let's say he does struggle. But it'll
How
be
about
interesting
Rogers? Is Rogers back?
well, if they don't bring Slay back, then I guess maybe they turn to him because he knows the scheme. He played well when called upon. Can he hold up over an entire season kind of stuff? He's on the smaller side. Sometimes I wonder about that with him. They like Ringo. Maybe his turn.
I like Ringo too, to be honest with you.
Yeah. I mean, I think the only thing that maybe could happen is like if Cooper DeJean, they want to start getting him ready for playing the outside full time. You have him out there in base defense, those 15% of the snaps, and then he goes back into nickel, and then but that means you're going to need an outside guy for 85% of the snaps opposite Quignon.
Hey Jeff, at the quarterback position, do you think is Kenny Pickett here? He's got one more year on his contract. Do you think he comes back here, or do they try and move him for some draft capital and go with Tanner McKee?
For a second there, I thought you were like, yeah, what are they going to do about Jalen Hurts? I mean, you said it's a quarterback position. Yeah, I think Pickett's a candidate to be moved because of Tanner and the way he's played, and they probably think he's ready to be the number two. The question is, can you really trade a Kenny Pickett? Sometimes, I mean, he's a backup. I think Kenny has something to do with this team being where it was this past season. He stepped in and helped them win that game that clinched the NFC East. And obviously wasn't great against the Commanders when they needed him. That was a tough spot for him to jump in there, but came in the next week and guided them to victory. And so that shows something to other teams. At least when called upon, this guy can get it done as a backup. And then if you really feel, well, I mean, the Eagles could think that's enough just to keep it at number two, and they want to have as many quarterbacks as they possibly can on many occasions. But if they can get something potentially attractive for him, I don't know what it would take. I mean, I can see Howie asking because it's a quarterback like a 2, but I don't know if Kenny Pickett can fetch a 2. If he can fetch a 2, you move it.
I was thinking
Maybe
5.
3, probably maybe a 4. Yeah. Is that worth it though? Because the quarterback room is a delicate place. Do you want to add another guy? I don't know. So it's going well right now. So there's a chance it's the same 3 guys.
Hey, big picture. I'm curious. How do you approach this off? Like, what do you see this off season as opposed to 2018? Right. So you win that Super Bowl compared to this year. And obviously there's the Wentz thing, but as a team, this team feels like this is way more advanced, almost a much better team than it was in 18.
Yeah, I think there's a lot of reasons for that too. Well, one, they're healthier. Remember, they had so many guys that were either coming off injuries or were like playing through injuries, and then they had to have surgery. Now, there's guys that Landon Dickerson, Cam Jurgens. There's guys that needed some maintenance this offseason, but it wasn't as bad anywhere close to the numbers that it was in 2017. And then to the quarterback situation, I mean that's just resolved. There's no concern there about obviously Carson was coming off the knee, but then also there was Carson played so well that there wasn't really much of a discussion, but there was certainly some people were like, let's just roll it with Foles, keep going with Foles, but they had to bring him back. And then, I don't know if you recall, but they made like massive changes to the medical staff. And
yes. Wow, I forgot about that. Yeah.
Right. And then Howie, I think we're seeing this now, the way Howie's going to approach free agency with his own guys is like maybe be a little careful about falling in love or just wanting to run it back again, and I think he did a little bit too much of that. I think some of that was Doug's influence, to be perfectly fair to Howie. But like I think he has to be careful about that, and I think we're starting to see that. Like I just don't think that some of it has to do with dollars and cents, but like with Slay, they're not. I think under maybe 7 years ago, they might have just been like, all right, let's just run it back with him again at the number. No, they put him in a box. They put him into a corner and made him make a decision. He's been released, and there's a chance they might not bring him back. So, maybe he has lost a step. Maybe they think that. But like you saw that they brought back Darren Sproles. They brought there was a number of guys they brought back. Jason Peters. Like they just probably need to move on from some of those guys.
You know what's funny? You're so right about this. And when we were talking about the D line, and you mentioned about Sweat, like if you're going to give that kind of money, you bring Sweat back. He's exactly why I would not do that. Like that situation, like if I had a choice, right, it would be to go with a guy that had starving to win as opposed to reward a Sweat. And I like Sweat; he had a good year, but I wouldn't invest. If I hadn't, I would invest in him.
Well, I think with I think defensive end, when you talk about that position, you have to also mention, the Bryce Huff situation. I mean, they're still paying this guy a lot of money, and Howie hasn't kind of written him off, but I find it very hard to believe that all of a sudden he's going to figure it out in Vic Fangio's scheme, and Vic Fangio is going to play him a lot of snaps. Now maybe. But you do raise a good point with Sweaty is like a Sweaty, that type of guy that's going to kind of all of a sudden hit a wall because of the age or also because of the knee. But Sweat to his credit, I mean, like he kind of really tailed off in 2023, but he came back and had a really good year.
He did.
He's really good.
Yeah,
and he was just amazing in the Super Bowl.
Yeah, no, without a doubt. But like look at it, and when you have a guy like Carter that creates that kind of attention and is that much of a beast and that much of a handful, it just everybody else eats.
He's the linchpin.
And I love how Nolan Smith has developed. I love the way, because truthfully, I wondered, I was like, will he be capped at that, he's speed guy off the ice, kind of one-dimensional. And man, like he had a great season.
Yeah, I mean, the jump that he took this season was just huge for this team.
Yeah.
Because, you had the Huff situation, and then you had Brandon Graham get hurt.
Yeah.
And, he played a lot of snaps. And, he's young. He's a first-round pick. But, you didn't really see it last year. And maybe that had to do with a little bit with opportunity. But even at the beginning of this year, it was just like, oh, is this kid going to be able to take the next step? And he took it. And as you mentioned, it wasn't just about pass rushing; it was about setting the edge against the run. He brings it. I mean, I saw it on film, thudding guys, man, like just really running. So
yeah.
He is undersized, and that could be an issue here and there against the top tackles. But he's good, and they just need to get someone. If Sweat's going to go, I still feel like they need to get somebody significant on the other side.
Yeah, no, I feel you. Hey, and the other thing that the difference is Fangio. Like having a rock on that side of the ball is huge. Like going down, just the fact that he made them watch the second half, like all those things. Like having a guy like him is so vital. And I saw it with Jim and with Jim Johnson, what he meant to Andy, and having Fangio is a big deal.
And you don't have to worry about him leaving. He says he wants to retire here. He doesn't want to be a head coach again. Now you wonder about how many years he can do it left. He's 66 and he'll be 67 soon, but that's huge. Now we should mention, if we're going to mention Fangio returning, we should mention that the offensive coordinator isn't returning, and that is going to be something that's going to have to it's going to bear watching. Is to see how Kevin Patullo is going to step into that role. Yeah, he's never called plays before. He's never been offensive coordinator. They have a new quarterbacks coach. How's Jalen Hurts going to handle all that? Now the continuity is a good thing. Kevin's been there for Jalen's not entire NFL career, but for most of it. They have a relationship. They know each other. I don't think the scheme is going to change a heck of much. But that being said, they got to be ahead of team defensive coordinators. That was an issue in 2023. It was an issue in 2018. Teams spent all off season studying the Eagles offense, and the Eagles weren't prepared So we'll see what Petula can come up. I think he has his own way of doing things too. So that may add a different little element to the scheme. But that is something that you have to be a little concerned about, because the last time they did it, and I don't think that's entirely fair to Kevin to compare him to Brian Johnson, but that was
it happened. No, you're right. I like personally. I like Kevin. I thought that was the right choice, and I have confidence in him.
Yeah, he earned it. That's also a good way of doing business, right? You reward your loyal soldiers, and especially when they've done good work, because Kevin factored into that Super Bowl victory in many ways.
All right, so what do you got cooking so we could follow you? I mean, so you got a big week next week.
We just dropped we were at the Combine. We just dropped a podcast on Covering the Birds episode about, kind of just like took everyone behind the scenes in the podcast. Also, we talked to a bunch of players, kind of next-gen players that we mentioned, some of them, Alex Hunt, Grant Calcaterra, Will Shipley, guys, Sidney Brown, guys that could potentially have bigger roles next season. So that was the pod. And then we'll have something. I did something with Mike Quick at the Q&A. We're just going to put that up on the podcast feed too. If people want to hear my conversation with Mike Quick about the Eagles, about a little bit about him, and a little about the future.
He's interesting. Mike's a fascinating dude. He's interesting.
Mike's a great dude. Really smart guy. Great broadcaster. He's really kind of developed into like one of the best color radio guys in the country. When at first he started, it was like, he didn't do it. It took him a while to get there, but I mean, he's become such a mainstay. I said, you're the young guy on the broadcast team, and you've been there 27 years.
He's the best. He is. I'm with you, my brother. Always love you. Always look forward to our chats, and they're always fun, man. Thanks, brother.
All right, thanks for having me in.
Best of the boys.
See you guys. You too. Best.
Jeff McLane, Inquire.com. Jeff is so good at what he does. Yeah. All right. This portion of the program brought to you by Rite Aid, RiteAid.com, to find the pharmacy and store nearest you. Let's talk about some of our friends and partners, shall we? Like, this is our favorite, your favorite time, because you guys get to ham it up. This is where Andrew gets to shine. You love it, don't you?
Oh, yeah, I love it.
Parks Casino. Let's talk about, they have it all. The action, the excitement, headline entertainment, concerts, comedy, MMA, boxing, all at the state-of-the-art Excite Center. So you got also, obviously, about all the thousands of state-of-the-art slots, like the Rocky slots, Peaky Blinders, all his slots that he likes, actually in person. Beautiful poker room, collection of award-winning restaurants. Parks Casino, this is how you win Pennsylvania's #1 casino. Tickets on sale now for these headliners. July 26th, the hilarious Joe Gatto from Impractical Jokers.
Larry!
July 3rd, Grammy-winning singer-songwriter Gary Clark Jr.
Here come old flat top.
He come grooving up slowly. He got Joe eyeball.
Where's Joey at?
He got hair down to his knees.
Comedian Ron White, March 20th.
Can't fix stupid.
The Motown Sounds of the Isley Brothers, April 11th.
This old heart of mine's been broke 1,000 times.
Each
time you break away.
I was trying to follow along there.
The comedy duo of Chad Daniels and Kelsey Cook from Pretend Problems Podcast. Psychic medium Matt Frazier on April 18th. And
there was someone special in your world. Their name began with M, right?
I know. They all say a letter. I see the letter B.
Is it Matt? Is it Mike? Is it
close.
Larry?
It was close.
Yeah.
C, D?
Bob? Bill? I hear the letter S. Thank you. It's the most prevalent letter of the alphabet.
You've lost someone close to you, right? Yeah. Who has it? Yeah. I'm sure it's a good show, though.
The band Live from TV Todd Town. TV Todd was their manager.
Oh, they're from Lancaster. Oh, now feel it coming back again.
So I'm curious to see the guy who actually lives in Lancaster.
Lancaster, yeah.
How he says
it's
it.
right near Hershey.
Hershey. Larry the Cable Guy, May 16th.
Get her done.
Don't forget, dinner and drinks before the show. Liberty Bell Gastropub, Beer Garden, Parks Grill Steakhouse, Bamboo Noodle House, Chickies and Pete's, ParksCasino.com to buy tickets for all shows. Parks Casino, this is how you win. You got to be 21. If you have a gambling problem, please call 1-800-GAMBLER.
All right. Ace Hardware Home Services. We love these people because they're there to help you out with your stressful home repairs. You know, things that we are not good at. People like me and Anthony, just not good at this stuff. So if you got a leaky pipe, Ace Hardware Home Services, they're around the block with everything you need to fix it. And most importantly, they got the right people to do the fixing. You got a heating or air conditioning issue, they got people for that. And stuff like a faucet you said you fixed last fall, but time got in the way. They got people for that too, because they're not just the helpful hardware folks. They're also the helpful home service and repair folks. From plumbing to heating, they've got trusted pros to keep your house humming all year long. Ace Hardware Home Services, they're bringing the helpful home, the helpful you love from the store right now to your front door. Visit Ace Hardware Home Services online, www.acehardwarehomeservices.com to get started on your next home project. They're so useful, people like that.
To the best. Ace, the helpful place.
That stuff stresses
From the
me
store
out like nothing.
to your front door.
Stresses me out, man.
That's it. I always tell you about you need people.
Yeah.
All right? All the time.
Yeah.
Well, you need the best medical care. All right? And we are lucky enough to have the great people at Rothman Orthopedics in our backyard. The great Rothman doctors. And again, we talk about them all the time because they're so valuable, right? In just everything that you need to keep you in motion, to keep you doing stuff that you love to do.
Yeah, they're the best. And they're all throughout the Delaware Valley. They got places all over that are convenient for you.
And I tell you about the Rothman docs all the time about that. They have a specialty. They have a doctor for each body part.
It's like very like shoulder, elbow,
right?
Yeah.
Knee.
Yeah, like I Rothman, I got plates put in my forearm. It was just like a forearm guy, hand guy. It's very specialized.
Right. And so they have spinal guys, non-operative spinal guys, like true back guys.
That's what I need.
All right. Well, you're in luck because we got
yeah.
Dr. Jeff with us today. All right. Dr. Jeff knows the back. He's one of the great doctors on the Rothman staff. Dr. Jeff, what do you say, buddy?
Good morning. Thank you for having me.
Oh, what a pleasure, Doc. What a pleasure. We're here to talk about the back, and particularly, based off of Tyrese Maxey's back contusions. And, when we talk about a back contusion, some of the ways that you can sustain it.
Absolutely. So, unfortunately, it's a fairly common injury, but especially when it comes to a contusion, it can be varying degrees of severity, obviously. Typically, it's a blunt force trauma type of injury. So, a lot of times in sports, you'll see it, let's say football with certain tackles getting hit in the back, and then injuries for like basketball, obviously. Oftentimes you'll see guys coming off the rim or trying to go up for a layup or a rebound and end up landing on their back. And so obviously landing on the hardwood or any extent or getting hit, with that type of trauma can cause a lot of injuries to the surrounding tissues in that area. So there can be injury directly to the muscles there. There's a lot of structures, vascular, meaning like vessels that can be injured. And then obviously there's a lot of bony anatomy in that area as well. So not only can you injure some of the soft tissues, but also some of the bone in that area, some of the vertebrae and some of the other bony structures there. So that in and of itself can get injured. And that whole combination can cause a lot of inflammation, swelling, and then ultimately a lot of stiffness and pain.
You look like you play ball. Did you play ball, Dr. Jeff?
No,
I played 6'4" 2 guard.
I played rugby.
All right. So you know all about contusions.
There was a lot of generations ago.
All right.
But same type of thing.
Right. I mean, you took shots. All right. You took big shots. I love it. Doc, so what's the typical recovery time for a back contusion?
So again, obviously that'll depend on how severe the injury is.
Yeah.
For guys, it's funny. It's actually a situation where maybe if you had a little bit more cushioning, the recovery would actually be better. But most of the guys we're talking about who are more elite athletes, they don't have much cushioning there. It's all muscle, and so they don't have much to kind of cushion that fall.
I got that.
Whatever
I got the
hits
cushion.
them. Well, I won't comment on that. I think we all have some degree. But anyway, that's probably one of the things that determines it. Obviously, the degree of force plays a role. So, if you see a lot of bruising in the area, that can be indicative of more severe injury, or at least to the surrounding vessels. Obviously, you'd see a doc and, kind of get an evaluation. Is there anything outside of the area where the trauma itself was? When it comes to the back and the lumbar spine area, obviously there's a lot of nerves associated with that. There's discs in that area as well. So depending on the severity of the trauma or the injury, you could have injuries to the nerves nearby that could cause pain, numbness, or tingling into the legs. If there was a fracture because of the fall, that would really, implicate, other treatment options that might be needed, but also the duration of the time that you'd be looking at. But in most cases, it's typically a few weeks for improvement. The biggest thing initially is probably stiffness, along with swelling, inflammation in the area. So typically, we'll recommend rest. Icing the area can be very helpful. Compression, like a back sleeve or a back brace, can be helpful. And then some medications can be helpful too. So anti-inflammatories are good at reducing inflammation. Sometimes muscle relaxers can help with a lot of the stiffness in the area too. But typically a few weeks. If there's a fracture, it could be a few months.
Oh, wow. Anything preventative?
Well, again, we talked about the cushioning, so I guess if you wanted to add some cushioning there, that could help. Really not. I mean, a lot of it is unfortunately how the injury occurs.
Yeah.
So, we're talking about elite
you're falling.
athletes.
That's it.
Yeah,
you fall on the floor, you're falling on the floor.
Correct. And then especially, if you're falling from a height of a few feet because you're jumping up to the rim, or, again, we're talking about typically elite athletes. You can't be in much better shape.
Yep.
So it's not really coming down to that as much as probably luck of the draw more than anything.
Dr. Jeff, what's your favorite sport other than rugby?
Football.
I love it. I love it. You still got the smile from the parade. I see
Absolutely.
it. You got a great way. Now, see, this is a doctor with a great bedside manner, too.
Because doctors I'm scared sometimes of doctors, but I feel good if he came in the room.
Dr. Jeff comes in, you go, oh, great. I have good hands right now.
Yeah.
This is all right.
That's nice of you. Thank you.
Well, we love all you guys at Rothman. You guys are the best, brother. Listen, have a great weekend. Go Birds.
You too. Absolutely. Thanks for having me.
You got it. Dr. Jeff from Rothman Orthopedics. Every other Friday, we visit with our favorite doctors to learn about all of our, weekend warrior stuff.
Yep. He could have gave us a Go Birds back.
You are such a nitpicker.
Yeah, he's a great guy. Give us a Go Birds back. Come on, Dr. Jeff. Come on, Dr. Jeff.
He's a nitpicker about everything, isn't he?
Yeah, I love that dude.
He's got a great way about him. I love that.
Yeah, it's fantastic. I love the rugby heads.
Yeah, rugby. That's a good sport.
Those guys are good guys.
Yeah, they are good guys. You want to have a fight with them.
We should have asked him if the tush push is a rugby player or not. Yeah. I haven't had a rugby guy on.
So Monday, I talked extensively with Spags.
Yes.
Baldy and I talked about the tush push with Spags. Interesting perspective.
Yeah.
From his, So on
I can't wait to hear it on Monday.
Yeah. All right. Let's find out what we're watching. There's a lot of good stuff out there.
No, he's at 11.
Oh. He's got.
Why would it be at 11?
He's having wind problems.
He's having wind problems. The winds are dying
His
down.
connection is really bad. He was telling me.
Well, why? It's going to get better at 11?
Yes.
Tell me to try now or don't or whatever. We'll just do it next week.
Oh, damn. You're not a tough negotiator.
Do it now or do it next week? I mean,
We're-
doing
I'm
it
saying-
now. What's happening at 11?
The winds are dying down at 10:58.
15 minutes, like the wind's going to die?
I'm checking in on
I
the
mean,
wind.
that's ridiculous.
I'm checking in on the wind situation right now.
Yeah, 10:50. There's a wind advisory in
I
Hershey.
mean,
Stop
like,
at 10:58.
What? Like, right or wrong?
No, I mean, that's weird that the winds are so bad he can only do it at 11.
Yeah.
He's signing in right now.
All right. Like if he had a meeting, all right. Like I get it. He's an executive.
Yeah.
Todd is an attorney and is an entertainment executive. So if he says I'm on a Zoom, all right, like I get that. But
the
wind, I don't get that.
Windman.
The internet connection is not going to be good till 11.
Hey, while we're waiting for him, VG gave me a great nug, and I think it's really funny. I'd love to show you. It's about a 49ers fan
Oh, this is amazing.
who gets roasted
At
by
Universal Studios by Megatron.
one Megatron.
He roasted a 10-year-old kid.
We're going to put it up here right now.
Make sure the volume's off.
Good, happy birthday. Maybe you will grow to be a winner, unlike the 49ers.
Wait.
Yeah, the Eagles got it done, but you didn't. Happy 10th birthday, young man.
Megatron roasted a kid.
Good, happy birthday. Maybe you will grow to be a winner, unlike the 49ers. Yeah, the Eagles got it done, but you didn't. Happy 10th birthday, young man.
Dude, that's the greatest. Is that Megatron?
It's
Yeah.
Megatron.
It's amazing.
Yeah.
That?
The Eagles got it done,
but you didn't. That's freaking awesome.
Now, that's an actor in that suit, right? That's got to be, right?
Yeah.
It's not like AI.
Well, it's not a
voice.
real Megatron. I mean, it's not a real robot.
I
There's an
didn't
actor in
think
that
that.
suit. Yes.
I didn't know if it was like AI voice.
Yeah.
Real Megatron, yeah.
Joe, she the dude next to you.
Yeah.
There's real robots.
Yeah.
He's like, I could be a Megatron. There's an actor in there, right? I could be Megatron.
Is that an AI voice? What?
Well, nowadays they got AI voices, you know?
What do you think? Someone's
Playing
typing
speaker.
that in
He's
very
right-
quickly?
Right there. He's looking at a kid in a Niners jersey. Like, what do you think he's going to say? Like,
Be a guy in a computer writing it out. I don't know.
No one can type
nobody
and write
do
it out that quick.
fast.
That quick.
The kid walks up. He's like, "Oh, maybe he'll grow up to be a winner, like the Eagles."
Like
Like,
to type like 120 words a minute to get it going that quick.
come on, man.
I don't know. The wind's back. We're good.
All right,
The wind's gone.
The wind's gone. Not back. It's gone.
TV Todd.
Act like a man. You can't handle the truth.
It's time for TV time.
All right, let's cover a couple things. One, how do you pronounce the main town in Amish country? Since you live
Lancaster.
there.
Lancaster.
Right.
Thank you. Tell TV Todd how you pronounce it.
Lancaster.
Oh no, that's I think that's a town. I think that's the way they say it. There's a town in California. I think they say it that way.
Lancaster.
Lancaster.
Like Lancaster Gordon. You remember him?
No.
Yes.
Like
Basketball
Burt
player.
Lancaster. It's not Burt Lancaster.
Right.
It's Burt Lancaster.
Yeah. Are you kidding me? What's up with the wind, Todd?
Yeah. How'd you know when it was going to be done at 11?
What are you talking? Andrew told me to be on an 11.
I know. Believe me, I know that. I know he messed up, right? So this is
He sold you out, Todd.
right, like he tried. I knew it. I knew this. It was so easy to see, right? Right. So, obviously we have you slotted every Friday, right? So we had our Rothman doctor, and I knew that takes about 8 minutes, right? So I was like, all right, well, we're going to do Todd after that. But he never told you to be ready at quarter of or 20 of or whatever. And because of that, he lied and said that you were having wind issues.
He did say the wind issues.
No, but you said he had
I
wind
did.
issues and could only come on at 11 because of the wind.
That's right. Now let's be accurate here. He said come on at 11. I said, okay, we're having a bunch of wind issues. Hopefully my signal will be okay. That was it.
Right.
Wow.
So Todd, this one says he'll be on at 11. All right. After the wind issues.
He's having wind issues. He'll be on at 11.
Like, huh? Like the wind's going to end at 11.
Yeah.
Just admit that you bleeped up. Like, that's it. Like, you messed up. You didn't tell Todd to be ready
It's
to
a
go.
violation to blame it on Todd, too.
And he blamed you.
Making Todd
and
seem like a
blamed you
weirdo.
and the wind.
Yeah.
And it was such a moronic, all right, silly, stupid.
Yes.
Like, way.
Judge Judy always says, if it doesn't make sense, it's not true.
Right.
It made no sense.
Right. I knew it.
Yeah.
And the whole reason why I said this was because Todd would have covered. Todd's such a nice guy. He would have covered for Andrew.
Yeah, but there's no way to cover that. Like,
Right.
The wind advisory ends at 10:58.
I'd be happy to take some hits for Andrew. It's all good. I just need to know about them.
No.
Mm-mm.
You have to take no hits.
Yeah.
He needs all the hits. Joey, hit him. All right?
It was my mistake. I was trying to keep the flow going.
Your flow. You weren't trying anything. You're lying again. You just forgot to tell him.
Yeah.
Anyway, good morning, my brother.
Good morning. By the way, let me clarify something. The band Live is not from Reading and they're not from Lancaster. They're from York, Pennsylvania.
Oh. I think I thought they were from Lancaster because they always played the Chameleon Club out there. I think that's where they got their start from.
That you're right about that. They played the Chameleon a lot.
Yeah.
But they're from York. In fact, their song called Shit Town is about York, Pennsylvania.
Whoa.
Really?
Wow.
Yeah.
That's harsh.
Yeah.
That's harsh. Well, you would know. You were their manager.
Well, I wasn't their manager, but I
Their
repped
attorney.
them. I did legal work for those guys for many years and a bunch of different times over the years.
That's fascinating. So, you on the come down after that red carpet gala event last week?
Yeah, man. You know what I love? I love some of the messages I'm getting about the show spirit. We're getting like little kids are like saying how inspiring it is, and they're saying G-dub on 3, and it's cool, man.
That's awesome. That's fabulous. All right. Look, he's got the Flyers.
Yeah.
I'm
he
ready.
does.
Big day today.
New
Trade
era of
deadline.
orange, baby.
Trade Lawton?
Well, you know what? If we can get a first-round pick for him, how could you say no? What's interesting about today will be, unlike prior years, if Danny and Jonesy are not going to get what they want for Lawton, Risto, etc., they're not going to move. They don't have to move them today.
Right.
They have so many assets. They could do it all in the offseason. I think it's going to be very interesting to see what today brings, or maybe nothing.
Well, there was a lot of movement, so there are a lot of teams going all in. So I could say it. Brock Nelson going to Colorado, dude. Wow.
I know. Listen, I'm just excited. Today is just a reminder of what the future is going to be for this team starting next year.
Yeah, I agree. That was the lead of the show, talking about the future of the Flyers and then no future of the Sixers. Right?
Can I Kyle Neubeck break in Sixers news. Ricky Council 4 has been assigned to the Bluecoats.
Okay, thanks. Kyle?
I know he's your favorite player.
I can't stand. I mean, God bless him, but I mean, I can't. I hate watching him play basketball. All right, so what do we got? What are we talking about? What do we got to watch this weekend? What's exciting? There's so much great stuff out there. It is the perfect time to dive in. So, I mean, I'm in the middle of stuff. What do you got?
Oh, dude, it is a great time for content. I did. Did you finish 1,000 Blows? Because I loved it all the way through.
No, I've not finished yet. I'm savoring. That's one of my savor shows that I've watched the first 2 episodes twice. and part of the third episode, the second time.
Wow. So what's cool about that show, Cuz, is they already filmed the next season of it. It's already in the can. They filmed it at the same time. So we're already going to get another 6 episodes.
Yeah, it's fat. I can't wait. It's such a great. I love that show. It's a great show.
Great show. You know what? Speaking of, because that show was created by the Peaky Blinders creator. Speaking of Peaky Blinders, I went to the theater the other day and I saw that movie called Last Breath with Woody Harrelson. It's absolutely fantastic theater movie. It's an hour and a half true story about these divers who are diving off of the coast of Scotland. And what they do is they go out there and they repair pipelines like 1,000 feet underwater in the pitch black darkness. They say it's one of the most dangerous jobs on the planet. Anyway, this is a true story about how there was an accident that happened and they had to do a rescue. It takes place, the movie's like an hour and a half. It's almost moving in real time. Woody Harrelson's in it, but the star of it is the guy who played Michael Shelby.
No, get out.
Yeah.
He's a good actor.
Movie.
Yeah.
He's great. And
I saw him in something else recently. He was in something else, and he's a good actor.
He's great. And that movie is fantastic. It's really good.
I saw the trailer for it.
It gets lost in the Oscar shuffle and all that kind of stuff, but it's like an hour and a half. You are like on the edge of your seat.
Well, that'll fit VG's criteria, Mr. Short.
As soon as you said hour and a half, I was like, I'm in.
He's bought in, yeah.
Well, technically, it's an hour and 33 minutes. I hope that's okay.
Yep. Perfectly fine.
Guys who like small, short.
Yeah, short guy.
Listen, and then I got to talk TV for a minute too. So I'll admit this. I'll admit that when tons of people tell me I must watch a show, I usually go into it being like, this is gonna be like
not my cup of tea. Yeah,
it's gonna be like watered down to cover every demographic and be kind of bland or whatever.
Right.
So I go in with a bad attitude. I admit it.
Dude, I'm the same way. So I can't, I got a bit of that in me. Yeah.
Call it snobbish or whatever. But
Yeah,
usually when there's a piece of content that covers everybody's liking, it's usually not great. But this one, I got to say, maybe one of the best shows I've seen on television in decades. Everybody was recommending to me, your listeners, my friends, a show called Paradise on Hulu.
Yeah.
This show is one, like I said, one of the best shows I've
me
seen.
The bro was talking about it
Right,
yesterday.
the bro loves it. Yeah.
The bro is right. This is an incredible show. It is 7 episodes. Every episode is just thrilling and artistic. And I can't even tell you the story because there's twists and turns in the first episode.
Post-apocalyptic.
It is, but it's really about the people who were in the know before the apocalyptic event occurred, the people who guard the president. James Marsden plays the president. Let me tell you something, man. This is a series. So wow. I've recommended it myself now to about 5 or 6 people, and they've all texted me and they said, I cannot stop. I'm going to stay home from work. I cannot stop watching this.
Wow. That says something.
Yeah.
Stay home from work.
I mean, I'm usually not a post-apocalyptic guy. Give it a shot.
It's not
on this, right?
Please do, VG, because it's not a typical post-apocalyptic show. That's why I don't really want to give away too much of the plot twist. It's not that, because I'm not a fan of that kind of content either. It's not that at all. But it's set around an experience. Great show. They already picked it up, season 2. It's a massive hit.
Wow. Did you like the De Niro show?
Yeah. Actually, I'm not through it. But I do like it. And I think, I think it's going to restore some people's faith in De Niro. It's a good role for him.
Oh yeah,
It was good. I watched it. It was good. I liked it.
You liked it?
Yeah, he did a great job in that show.
Man, there's so much. I'm looking at my own
so
queue,
much.
right? So we're still 1,000 Blows. I want to watch the De Niro show. I want to watch Paradise, and we're watching Lotus.
Yeah. I mean, White Lotus is the GOAT of scripted shows right now. There's no doubt. But let me tell you something. Paradise is giving it a real run. So I would move Paradise up on your list a little bit above Zero Day. I think Tam will love it. It's really good. My wife Joy loves it. So anyway, it's great. There's, cuz it's not your thing, but I know it's your audience's thing. There's some comedies out now that are just so good. Shoresy on Hulu about a hockey team in Sudbury's in its 4th season. Maybe one of the funniest shows I've ever seen on television.
Really? Wow.
It is amazing. It's a spinoff from Letterkenny. It's a character, but it's set in the hockey league world, the senior hockey league world in Sudbury, Canada. And I'm telling you, I can't stop laughing during this show.
I'd watch that.
So that's Shoresy.
I'd watch a hockey comedy.
You will?
I would.
You will?
I would, yeah.
Wow.
This is a real, what takes me out of a hockey show usually?
If
The
it's
hockey.
not authentic, yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Yeah. This is authentic. All the guys really play. They
I'll
have
watch
all
like
the
a
inside scoop.
comedic sports. If the sport, like you said, like if the sports smells right, I'll watch it because it's a great world, natural world for comedic, situations.
Like, did you get into
It is.
Arliss? Were you an Arliss fan?
I watched Arliss. I mean, I
liked
wasn't,
Arliss.
Yeah,
I like that.
On the opposite side of that, and I'm saying this knowing full well it's a hit. Netflix has a series out now called Running Point, which was executive produced by Jeannie Buss. And it is a comedy where Kate Hudson basically plays the owner of the Lakers. It's a massive hit for Netflix. It's #1 series. They already picked up season 2. Justin Theroux's in it. It's not as real as Shoresy or some of the other shows because Mindy Kaling produces it, and she always has these worlds where you kind of suspend disbelief a little bit and just have fun. It's a fun comedy.
Yeah, I'm out.
Yeah, I was going to say,
yeah.
there's no way he is watching this. No way.
Out.
Yeah.
Out.
That's why I said it was on
I'm
the
out.
opposite side. But watch
Shoresy.
Shoresy.
I'm out.
Watch Shoresy.
Big week for me this week, Todd. Netflix is bringing back one of my favorite series of all time.
Love Island.
No, it's better than Love Island. It comes out Wednesday. Temptation Island.
You love the islands.
That is for me.
Islands.
Temptation Island is the GOAT. The GOAT of all reality shows is Temptation Island. I'm so stoked for coming back.
VG, first of all,
have you ever watched it?
Yeah, I have seen it. It's not my thing, but I did, at your request, because I'm a big VG fan. I take your advice. I watched 2 episodes of Naked Attraction.
Yeah,
That
outrageous.
show,
You told
dude.
me it was outrageous.
Well, it's outrageous. It's not a show I would watch. It's outrageous because it truly is, like, full frontal nudity, the crazy. Like, I'm shocked that I really, I'm involved in casting. I cannot believe that these people do that show.
Me neither. Never happened in America.
It is
By the
shocking.
way,
It is.
You mischaracterized Todd.
I
But
just
you
said he said it was
You
outrageous.
said, what did I do?
You texted me and said, "I can't believe you like this show." I'm like,
Yeah,
I don't like
I was
this
like,
show.
now I got nose like Tab's on the fence with him, right? Like we argue about Todd. She loves him,
Right.
but his taste.
Yeah.
And I'm like, no, it can't. And he went, no, I didn't like it. I just said it's outrageous.
And it is.
It's
And
been
it
the kicking
is
can.
outrageous.
Tam is a secret Love Is Blind fan.
I saw it on
He
the
just found
iPad,
out.
on the history. I went,
Awesome.
what? She's
If
like,
she
well, you're
starts
watching your
wa-
games. I watch,
If if she starts watching Naked Attraction, then you have to have some concern. Because, but let me tell you something. You text me. You and Tam watch the first episode of Paradise. Watch the second episode. You two text me. I'm guaranteeing a win on this one.
All right.
Wow, guaranteeing.
I like it.
It's a Brad's bet lock.
Wow.
It's like a live bet.
Yeah.
It's a Brad live bet.
I like that.
All right. I'm in. We'll take the challenge this weekend. I love it. My brother, what do you got cooking? Anything we should know about?
No, I'm going to come down to the Flyers this weekend.
Oh, yeah?
Which game you going to?
Yeah. I'm going to go to the Devils on Sunday.
Nice.
Nice.
Yeah, we got doubleheader afternoon games,
Yeah.
Saturday and Sunday. Kraken?
Yeah.
Tomorrow?
I kind of like the Kraken. I don't know.
And and then Sunday. So, which day is the that's Sunday, I think, is the ABC game.
I don't know.
Yeah.
No, it should be rocking. Well, listen, Wells has been great. It's been crowded down there. It's been fun. I mean, everybody gets it and is on board with what Danny and Jonesy are doing. I'm loving it down there.
Yeah, actually, Sunday's TNT, tomorrow's ABC.
Nice.
I love the TNT game. TNT,
yeah.
The TNT hockey coverage is great. The studio show, Biz.
It's really good.
That's my man,
it's really
Biz.
good. Hey, before I roll, I got one more for Andrew. Andrew, Heretic is now streaming on Max as of today.
Oh, very nice.
I saw that in the films.
I saw it in the theaters.
Good
Yeah,
stuff,
I loved it. It was a little
Really
different
love
than what
that
I
movie.
expected it to be, but I really did enjoy this story.
It's a great. I think I told you guys when I was on the show previously. It was written by these two guys who, debated organized religion their whole lives, and obviously this movie is a giant debate about organized religion.
Wow, that's awesome. I would have interest in that.
Hugh Grant's good. He's
great.
like a villain. He's good.
Hugh Grant's good in it.
Yeah. Heretic. I'll put that on the list too. A lot of stuff to watch. I want to try to get stuff in before the tournament.
Yeah.
All right.
We got tournaments before the tournament.
Yeah, but the real tournament.
Meanwhile, lastly, how great is it that Tommy and the workshop picked Patino to follow this season on this run?
Oh, it's pretty gold. Absolute gold.
We just got picked up on yesterday for a 7th episode to cover the tournament run, and Patino was on Jimmy Fallon last night.
Oh, nice.
That's huge. That's a great deal, man. Good stuff.
Oh, hey, also while you're here, Todd,
Yeah,
Academy Awards, highest viewership in 5 years. 19 million people watched it. Good run for them this week.
Yeah, I really want, I've said it to you before, I'm not a big awards guy, but the films this year were so much more diverse than they have been in the past, from, the substance to, I mean, you can criticize it, but even the Amelia Perez, like, it was just so diverse, and from a content standpoint, and I think that really made a difference this year.
I still need to see the Adrian Brody.
Brutalist.
Yeah, I still need to
So
see
good.
it. Yeah.
So good. So good.
When's that coming to HBO or streamer?
They don't have a free streaming date yet, but it's on demand right now.
All right. I got to watch
So you can watch it.
Yeah, that's one I want to watch.
Clear a whole day for that. Oof.
Oh, it's 4 hours.
He's the worst.
Oof.
Just is the worst. Between his torts hate and his brutalist hate and his content hate.
There's nothing personal against Brutalist. It's just too long.
It's a great story about my hometown, Doylestown, all right?
It is.
I can't even take you seriously with your socks and your pants.
He's got these high pants, Todd.
It's the way
He's
I'm
a high
sitting.
pants
We can see
guy.
the top of his socks, and they're not
Yeah,
ankle
and
socks.
the ankles.
They're
and
mid-calf
he's
socks.
got these. And
They're
he's
new-
got
I know
the
he's wearing
Uncle
New Balance socks.
Junior, the Uncle Junior white socks on. Yeah, they are like
They're
long
long
shorts.
shorts.
Capris.
Yeah.
They're like capris.
Yeah.
Claim digger.
Horrible look. The other day he had on. What were you wearing?
Birkenstocks.
Oh, Birkenstocks with socks.
Oh, horrible, Todd. Horrible. No good.
Oh, man.
My brother, We'll call you later.
Careful with the wind.
All right, boys.
All right.
Have a good weekend, boys.
See you, buddy. TV Todd. I knew you're such a fugazi. I knew it.
That's lame. That's lame blaming it on Todd.
I knew it. You blame Todd. You blame Todd's wind.
It was my mistake. I thought we had a 10:30 guest when I was texting him.
That's
And-
not
Yeah,
true.
but all you had to
That's
do,
not true
all you had
either.
to do, that is not
He
true.
told me he ran through the guest with me. He's like, we don't have a 10:30 guest, so it might be a little iffy. So I got some nugs together. He knew we didn't have 10:30 open.
At the time when I was texting him, it was before that.
No, but I already told him there was no 10:30. I was like, I'm getting a 9:20.
Right.
There's going to be no 10:30. It's the Rothman doctor and Todd.
Yes.
There was no need for a 10:30.
I messed up. I take the blame on that one. I messed
Yeah,
up.
answer you. And you trying to blame everybody but yourself. Joey, let that be a lesson. Do not do what he does. All right? I know he's got his back. Joey idolizes Andrew.
Well, he hasn't had much exposure to other producers.
All right, Marty back in the day moment.
We're going back. We're going back. We're going back in the day with Rite Aid. Yeah.
Let's see if your crazy mind can guess. We're going back to March of 93. First week of March, 1993.
93.
A 76er drained 6 threes in the first half.
Hold on.
They're playing the Suns.
I know it. In fact, there was a quote about him that said he played like he had a sparrow on his back.
Oh, yeah?
And it was, oh God, I know it. Oh God. He was
Just draining threes.
yeah, and he was nobody. He was
He's
Like that quote.
oh God.
Show him who it is, Andrew.
All right, here we go. Here it is. The reveal.
Manu Ball.
Oh no, I was not thinking that. I was not thinking that.
6 threes.
Manu with the
He actually was able to, he shot threes.
Down by 14. Manute with another.
Look at that ugly shot.
From the top of his head.
Yeah, look at this. Look at this freak show. Look at that shot.
Look at those legs.
Yeah.
Hey, the guy can make 3 out of 4. He should shoot them all night. 3 threes in the third quarter from Manute.
Look at that shot.
Sixers have
He
found
doesn't
an
even, it's
offensive
a set
weapon.
shot.
Chambers was just leaning
From
on him.
It's
25
like, almost
feet out.
like
Look at
a
this.
soccer
Look at
throw-in
that.
when
Yeah.
they throw the ball in
Yeah.
from the sideline.
4 3-pointers in this quarter for him. You know he's
Look
going
at
to
this.
drill
Look
2
at
on
this.
3.
This
Or
is, look at that.
Or-
How does that
It's all
happen?
5 out of
swishes.
7. I don't believe
It's unbelievable. He doesn't move.
neither of the people
Look
here.
at the Suns all. They can't
I don't
believe Dan
believe
Marley
this.
can't.
Look at
Sixers
this.
had come back to within 10.
Same
Now it's
thing.
tied.
Oh my God, Manute. Did I ever tell you a story? I talked to Manute on the phone.
Right?
I was working at Midway Airlines.
Yes.
All right. I was a ramp guy.
Mhm.
Like I load the baggage into the belly of the aircraft. So, but I also did operations, right? Like you compute the weight and balance of the aircraft, the whole thing. You had to give it to the pilot. So I'm in the ops room and the phone rings, and there was a woman that worked there, and Manute, I think, was seeing her, right? But I didn't know. I didn't know anything. All of a sudden, I go, he's like, "Can I talk to Laurie?" And I was like, "Yeah, she's not here. I'll take a message. Who is it?" He said, "This is Manute."
Oh,
I
wow.
said, "Manute." He went, I said, "Manute Ball?" yes, Manute Ball. I went, "No way, Manute Ball." And I tried to start talking to him, and he didn't want nothing to do with it. He just hung up. Tell call Manute. I was like, all right.
That's amazing.
Manute? Manute. What a freak show.
Yeah,
I mean, shoot threes.
Yeah.
Oh, my. That's disfranchised.
Yes.
I'm so disenfranchised with this franchise. Oh, my God. Anyway, all right. That's great. That's a great back in the day.
Yeah.
Manute Ball shooting threes. Classic.
If you would have nailed that one, I would have been blown
I
away.
was not. I was thinking somebody else. All right. That's going to do for the program. What are you going to do this weekend?
I don't know. I'm pretty free. I'm going to watch the Flyers Saturday and
Yeah,
Sunday.
good
Other than
Flyer
that,
action in the afternoon.
Basketball, I don't really have any plans.
All right. How about you?
Lots of soccer.
Soccer. What do you got? EPL?
Yeah, Liverpool's playing Southampton. Union are playing the New England Revolution. A couple good games this weekend, so I'll be tuned in.
All right. He'll give his Champions League picks next week.
I will.
Does it resume next week?
It does, yeah.
Look at that.
Second leg.
He's on fire.
That's so weird, though.
What?
The first leg, second leg.
I don't understand any of it. I'll be honest.
You playing 2 games. Why can't they just play best of 3?
They love ties.
Yeah, well, I don't understand.
Well, you can't tie in this.
No,
You
it's
can't?
aggregate goals.
No, but you can. But you can tie, win one, lose one.
I just don't understand. Like, I get it. I mean, but as an American sportsman, the aggregate doesn't make sense to me.
It's a little funky. I'll agree with you on that one. The MLS.
Like, could you imagine? So the Chiefs and the Eagles play in the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
And
twice.
Right? Like, they would play twice.
Oh, that would be hell.
And the biggest point differential.
And it's point differential.
Yeah, no.
Like, how bad is that?
No.
That would be absolute hell.
Horrendous.
Horrendous is right. It makes no sense.
I'm sorry, Fraser. Like, that's horrible.
I get you. I get you on that. I'm waiting for the next round, which is the knockout, and that's one and done.
I like the knockout. That I can get into.
That's the round of 16 is right now.
It's all good. It's like, I like the idea of the Champions League. It's a great idea. But I don't understand why you just can't play best of 3. Add another game.
I don't either.
The MLS does it in their playoffs. Their first round of their playoffs is best of 3.
Yeah, but why can't they just do that? Like, just add another week. It's not a big deal. They can best of 3. True champion.
Yeah. Tradition.
Or make it just one and done. I mean, one or the other. Except this fugazi aggregate. Anytime you have a word like aggregate, that should not be in sports.
Agreed.
Right?
Yes.
That makes Joey doesn't even.
He doesn't know what we're talking about.
No idea what we're talking about.
They don't do aggregates in skateboarding.
No.
What's an aggregate?
What are you doing this weekend?
Skating and shaving.
You're skating? Where are you going to be skating at? Yeah. Well, next week, yeah. This week it's a little cold, but next weekend it starts to heat up. You'll be out and about. All right.
It's getting warm, man.
All right, it's skate season. Yeah.
Yeah, actually enjoy it out there instead of being cold.
All right.
Wearing the gloves
Yeah, I like it. All right, it's going to do it for everybody. Thank you. We love you guys. Have a wonderful weekend. Relax. Enjoy yourselves. All right. Have a couple pops on us, and we'll see you on Monday.
We all silly like the mayor.